Yo, what's going on, guys? Hope you guys are all doing well. Welcome to 101 on Arsenal. And a big shout out to everybody who I met at the Emirates Stadium today. Saw quite a few people, met up with everybody, and also Vincey. We was down there with Vincey today. So big shout out to you, Vincey. I know he's just actually reached home. So I did say to him today we might do the player ratings around maybe 8:30, 9 o'clock. And I decided let me do it at 8:30 because my daughter's here at the moment. And then he only just gets home. So let me just hold on a second, guys. Sort out this volume here. So, guys, what a great win for us today. And a big shout out to you lot who's on the forum as well. Got some good activity in the game thread in the forum today. So thank you for everybody who participated in that. And it was how should we say? Let's talk about the game, shall we? It was a little bit of a Burnley game in the first half. I think a lot of people would say that we got a bit antsy and there was a bit nervous, and a lot of the traits that we saw from the Burnley game were actually in this game as well. And I think one would have to admit that there is just nothing that's happening up front. There really isn't. And this team has really struggling to kind of find its elite performance at the striker level. And that's unfortunately where we're going to be going. We're going to be that team for a while. And I think we know that. And there's going to be a little bit of frustration in trying to look for those key performances from those players that we're looking to provide inspiration and provide talent and goals and things like that. And we are at the stage now where we have to start to think outside the box because it's just not working. And the experiment and everything that's been happening. What's going on, G? Yeah, so we didn't live stream anything today, G. So that's why G says for Martinelli to try front. Yeah, I mean Martinelli's not there, and I get that, but I've been talking for a change, and I'm happy with either way. I can actually see a situation, and this is something that's quite important. Yeah, I can actually see a situation where Martinelli plays as the main striker, because if you think about Pepe, Saka, I mean, there's a case to say Pepe can play as the main striker. But if you kind of think about who is going to play in that game on Thursday, it's a real problem up front. Arteta now has to think that Smith Rowe is the leading goal scorer in the team. He's got 10 goals in all competitions, and he's got 9 in the league. If you are Smith Rowe, you're going to think to yourself, well, I was a starter at the beginning of the season. Every time I came on as a sub, I literally scored. And on top of that, I started today and I scored again. So what's going on up all is well, my brother. Hope you enjoyed the game today. Let me know what you think of the game, most importantly. And I think I just have to really staple on the fact that we cannot go through the last 15 games with Lacazette in this form. We can't, because it's going to cost us. I wouldn't mind if we was getting a little something out of him. And some of you might say, oh, but Apollo, he had an assist today. And congratulations to him for that. And he also had the assist against, Wolves when he had that supposedly, if that's what you're calling assist these days, then that's crazy, because for me, I thought Ben White got the assist on the Gabriel goal. Lacazette got a smidge of a touch on it, a smidge. It didn't change the trajectory of the ball or anything. But outside of those 2 instances where he's had 2 assists in the last 4 games, a striker's job is to score goals. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about Lacazette in his entirety. So Lacazette missed a clear chance today, again, one-on-one, didn't hit the target. Last game against Burnley, he had 2 chances again, clear cut. One was one-on-one with the goalkeeper again, where he could have swerved the goal onto the bottom right corner post. He misses the target. Against Wolves, against Burnley today, and against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup, Lacazette has had 7 chances on goal and not hit the target once. He's missed every single time. And not just that, but in 3 of those 7 chances, it's been a one-on-one. So no defender in front of him, just him standing up in front of the goalkeeper and saying, that's it. It's me against you. And he's missed the target. I wouldn't mind if he got the shots on target, but guys, he's not even missing. He's not even working the goalkeeper. And this isn't slagging off Lacazette, or this isn't bashing him or anything to that effect. This is just saying to you guys that we are obviously going through a patch. January was our worst patch this season, and he didn't do anything in that patch. And now we're starting to sort of find some momentum. I believe that the prognosis from that position is that we need to get something from there. Now, it's not like we don't have options. We have Nketiah, who, again, let me remind you guys, Nketiah has not started a single game this season. Not one. So there's that. Yeah. And the fact that he averages a goal every 71 minutes. So, in my opinion, what have you got to lose if you start Nketiah? You've got more to gain, because he does have an ability to get onto anything that's in the box. Now today, guys, we had ample amount of corners, 9 in the first half. We had crosses after crosses after crosses. I lost count how many times it was balls crossed into the box. You wouldn't put your money on Nketiah getting on the end of any of those. You wouldn't. Is there anybody here in the fan base that would say, Apollo, with all those chances, if you started Nketiah in all those games, that he would just continuously draw blanks and wouldn't score? Because that's the situation we're in now. The situation we're in now is we're getting nothing from the forward line. So the prognosis would be is to swap out and use Nketiah. That would be an option. I'm not saying it's the best option. For me, the best option would be for Martinelli to start there against Wolves on Thursday. That's what I would do. I would keep Smith Rowe in the team. He's scoring. I'd keep Saka in the team. You can't drop Saka. Those are the Haaland bookends. You ain't going to drop either of them. They're both playing well. They're both scoring. Keep Saka and Smith Rowe in the team. Odegaard's been the most creative midfielder statistically since November. The #1 creative player, chances created in the Premier League. So you ain't going to drop him. So Lacazette, that point where Lacazette is in, that's what needs to be discussed. 3 goals in 14 games. So I would put Martinelli. I think the best option is to put Martinelli as the main striker and see where you go from them. The worst case scenario is he's going to hold up the ball a little bit better for you. He's going to be a little bit more active. He'll get shots on target. He will get shots on target, guys. So let's just move on. That's just my little prognosis from the events of today. Let me talk about Andrew. Andrew said, I will have to watch the highlights. Yeah, the highlights is the highlights ain't going to be very pretty. I thought we came out, we dominated the game in the first half, had nothing to show for it. In the second half, I thought we was, due to the tactics, much more better team, much more on point, and changed the way we played, which allowed us to get the result. Kuke said, agreed. I've got the same line of thought. If we are consistent in these games, we'll be okay. It was really good performance today, I thought. Yeah, I mean, some people say the performance. I always look at the result. Don't matter if you play well and you don't win. Yeah, it's all about the result. It's nice when we put a performance in and we can all say how beautiful we played, and we can all talk about giving them 8 out of 10s or 9 out of 10s and things like that. But I want to win. I don't want a situation in what happened with Man City where we played them off the park and lost. And speaking of playing Man City off the park and losing, big shout out to Kieran. Thoughts on the Man City? That game was bonkers, mate. that game was absolutely, you're looking for Spurs to drop points everywhere. And they've been dropping points left, right, and centre, just what Arsenal fans wanted. And then you play the best team in the league, best team in Europe, well, arguably, but the best team in the league. And you're like, yeah, sure, Spurs are definitely going to drop points. And then they put in a performance, which is their best performance of the season. And even with 92 minutes gone and the game tied, I actually turned away. I turned the game off and said, yeah, all right, I can go to bed with a smile on my face because Spurs got a point today. When I came back 10 minutes later and saw the scoreboard, boy, all I can say is Harry Kane badly wants that move to City because today he showed them the reason why they're suffering without signing him. And some might say, yeah, but they're still going to win the league. I think signing Harry Kane, I think signing Harry Kane wouldn't have so much won Spurs the league. I think signing Harry Kane would have won Man City the Champions League. And I think today, what Harry Kane had a 2 fingers up performance to Man City. And whether anybody could say he played well or not, what this means, because to me, City can win the league without Harry Kane, but they're not going to win the Champions League without him. Yeah, that's just facts. They haven't been able to get over that bar. But Harry Kane, I don't know, that game was bonkers today. We're just talking about the Spurs-Man City game before we go into Arsenal player ratings, Bertram. What was your thoughts on that game? That was mad.
I feel when Spurs win, I feel as bad as when Arsenal lose.
I agree.
Serious. It's that bad.
I agree.
Very disappointing. Something, Apollo, it was the same with our game, actually, which is I believe in dominating possession. If you have the ball, team can score. When you dominate possession, you do nothing with it. Then you're wasting time, right? So Spurs sat back all game, and the 2 goals he scored, one was a Lloris's mistake, and the other was a penalty, which was also could have been disputable. And Spurs could have scored 6. Harry Kane missed the The offside goal was barely offside. There wasn't a chance he got. So it was very disappointing, the result of that game. And City, I think they're in the Champions League the way they play without a number. I don't think without a number 9, because nothing is happening if you stay deep, lock yourself in. And Kane was brilliant today, frankly. Not just his scoring, but his passing. His passing was pinpoint to Son, or to the new kid they got from Juventus. So, yeah, it's disappointing that Spurs won.
I think, for me, Spurs just exposed the huge deficiencies in Man City's game and showed us the reason why they'll never win the Champions League. That's what today was. When I watched that game.
Apollo, what happened was they played like how we used to play, which is we attack without any sense of balance. So if I lose the ball, I have no respect for my opponent. If I lose the ball, I don't think I have to go defend. If you notice, even the first goal that he scored, Diaz decided to play offside trap when he was playing up, and he had no speed to get back. And Walker is too deep, because Walker is the only quick person they have in their defense. So very disappointing result, actually. And they have to change their construct if they want to win the Champions League. That's for sure.
Yeah, Andrew says Martinelli will be back. I suggest that he will play up front with Pepe and Saka supporting role. So Bertrand, I'm not sure whether you caught the start of this podcast. I was talking about you can't go into Thursday's game with Lacazette up front. I just today when I was on the field with Vincey, I had Vincey with me today at the Emirates Stadium, sitting next to me for the game. And I was just like, come on, we this is a problem and you ain't going to fix it by keeping the same front line. Try something different. Do something different. And whether that is start Nketiah or whether that is start Martinelli at the 9, because the problem you've got now, Bertram, is Smith Rowe has come into the side. He's got 10 goals for the team this season, 9 in the league. He's leading the team, first player in double digits. How are you going to put this guy on the bench when you have a scoring problem? That, to me, doesn't make sense. If you have a scoring problem and you're putting your top scorer in the team on the bench, that's a no. So first of all, he has to play on Thursday against Wolves. Secondly, well, you put him up front. You can put Pepe up there. When Pepe came on today, he looked sick. And Pepe
Yeah,
came
I
on
don't
today.
think Arteta doesn't like Pepe's game. So here's the reason I say this. A couple of things. One is Pepe got a red card at Leeds, I think was last year, and he called him out publicly, which he normally doesn't do. That's his institution. He didn't call out Xhaka. He didn't call out Partey. He didn't call out anyone else. That happened. When Pepe plays and Pepe loses the ball, and sometimes he loses the ball in very difficult situations and put us under pressure, he put his hands over his face. That's a reaction of, I don't trust this person, and here he goes again. He doesn't trust Pepe, and he comes up with this nonsense the other day about, oh, Pepe just came back, he looks happy, he looks into it. Pepe has always had the same demeanor. His demeanor never changes.
Never.
No matter what. I'm sure he's somebody who enjoys his football. He enjoys tricking people. He enjoys scoring goals. He's the only true goal scorer in the team. Now, Smith Rowe is very impressive going forward. Smith Rowe gets lost in games sometimes. A brilliant kid, brilliant player, but sometimes he's not in the game. He's anonymous, right? And sometimes Pepe is not what he should be, frankly, and he's disappointed. But Pepe is the only true goal scorer in the team.
Yeah.
And the narrative, I need to hear narrative. The audience does this sometimes. Talk about the kids. I'm sorry, guys, they're not kids anymore. Sancho is 20, the same age as Smith Rowe, or 21, the same age as Smith Rowe. They're not kids anymore. They're getting paid thousands of dollars. They're not kids. They stay young. We agree they're young, but if they're kids, they should stay home. They have to be evaluated just like anybody else in the team. That's why we're trying to go for top four when we do with kids. Why we play kids when kids are not good enough. The kids are good enough, but judge them like they judge anyone else, as they should be on the field. I'm so sorry. I get frustrated with that nonsense. And I hear the commentators saying the same thing today. Now, the kids score. You say the kids scored 2 goals today, and they're beyond believing the kids are helping us. We're playing 4 kids, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, exactly.
23? Martinelli is 21, 20. So why are we playing all these kids then? If they're kids, why are we playing them?
Yeah. I mean, it is frustrating. We don't have any options, and one might say that this team is lacking leadership, veteran leadership. We're talking about getting a striker in the summer and getting another midfield player in the summer. What we need is a figure who's going to rally the troops. Now, Lacazette was doing that to a point this season. Before Christmas, I felt that he was our most influential player. But in January was our worst month of the season, and it's just showed every single deficiency that the team has. And even now that we're starting to improve and we're stringing some wins together, I look at Lacazette's game and it still hasn't improved. Lacazette hasn't kicked off yet. I know he had a goal that was disallowed today, and that would have done him a world of good. And look, I got to give him credit for the assist as well, but not for the assist that he had against Wolves. That was not an assist. If that's what we're calling an assist, then
I don't think we lack leadership. So that narrative about lacking leadership, I don't agree with it. Here's why. Think about the team. What we're saying is that we don't have imposing figures playing up front. So think about the goalkeeper. He's a leader. Your back 4, to me, are all leaders, frankly, including Tomiyasu, maybe a quiet leader because his performance demonstrates that. Your midfield are senior people. Xhaka and Partey are old men.
I don't think that's what I'm. Yeah,
but
I don't think that's what I'm saying, Bertram, is that when things are going wrong, when you have a Liverpool second leg Carabao Cup, when you have a going away to Everton, which we should have lost 5-1 that game, when you have a Burnley 0-0, when you have these games where the result isn't there and you're not playing well, that's when you need a figure that will rally the troops, pull them together and say, come on, guys, let's roll up our sleeves. We ain't got that. You're right about the kids. Look, you're right. You're 100% right. But we don't have...
Are we 5th and 6th in the league? Or what position are we? 5th or 6th?
We're
5th,
6th right? Now. We're 6th.
Yeah. 6th. But we have games in hand against Man U and West Ham, right?
Mm.
Now, no one expects us to be top 4 this year. They say they did. They're not telling the truth, right? We're overperforming.
Yeah,
Even though we're not scoring, we haven't been able to score goals for the last 3 years. We scored 50-something goals 2 years ago and not much better than last year. And this year, we're still struggling to score goals because we're playing a bunch of kids, as you guys want to say. And it wasn't the kids should play. So if you want the kids to play and they're not scoring goals, you got to make your mind up. Right? We have built from the back to the front, even though we have the kids. And the kids are very good and they can be very good. Our back 5 is as good as any Premier League, frankly. Not offensively. Okay, look at Liverpool, Robertson, and Trent Alexander, their top assists per apart from Salah. But
some of them didn't play
basically,
today, you know, Bertram. Some of them were left out of the team today. Liverpool.
And they have no respect for Norwich.
Yeah, they went 1-0 down.
Yeah, no respect for Norwich. He can play anybody. He can play any of his 11. He doesn't really care. They're going to play anyway. But also, Apollo, what it tells you is that unlike Arteta, who plays the same people week after week, and I know we have less competition to play in, he buy players who can interchange. Jota is out, Diaz coming, Salah coming, Mane comes in, Elliott is injured, he comes back. They have interchangeable parts. Yeah. He keeps building on those parts, right? They have succession planning. You want to leave Salah? We brought Diaz in. He'll take your place. You want to leave Mane? We brought Jota in. Firmino, we have the cover for you. And those players can also play across the front line.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
We don't have, and when we have the Pepes of the world who have the ability to play, we put them on the bench every single game, give him 5 minutes and say, you know what, you played 20 games, you only score 1 goal. Yeah. When you check out the minutes, he's not playing any portion of minutes. And it's frustrating to watch. And his changes are like Wenger's changes. Game week, 70-something minute, throw someone on, 80-something minute, throw another person on. If we go down to 10, he throws Holding in, same thing.
Yeah. So Andrew says, should Man City have matched Daniel Levy's price for Kane? Look, man, like I said, it depends where their ambition is really, if I'm honest, because they can win the league easily without Kane. It's the Champions League. That's the one that if they get Kane, then I will say that they have an ability and a team that can actually do that. If not, then I don't see them winning the Champions League. I really don't. Kuke says, hey, Bertram, well, the officials tried everything possible to give City the result, even playing 2.5 minutes extra.
No, Kuke. No, stop there, Paulo. That's not true, actually. So there was a long goal celebration.
I was watching the game with Bertram. We were typing as the game is going on.
No. What I'm saying is that if you look at, even before they got to the end of time, there was a delay period. He went to the monitor. That never got factored in. They said 7 minutes with 89 minutes already. And never got factored in. Plus, there's a long goal celebration when the third goal scored. So, yeah, maybe he had a little bit extra time. But I thought it should have been 9 minutes, given that they didn't add the minute at the end of the first period, actually.
You know why I'm smiling, Bertram? Because Andy would disagree with you. Andy was talking last week. He said VAR is beautiful, VAR works. Today he was like, bloody VAR, that VAR is ridiculous.
So Andy and I have always argued about VAR forever, right? Before VAR came in, he and his dinosaur English ways always talking about VAR is nonsense, American stuff. We shouldn't have it. When it works for you, love. But VAR is a benefit, net benefit, right? Has its detriment because human beings running it. It's a net benefit.
Yeah. Diaz says Smith Rowe at number 9. He's doing more than Laka. No, I think he's better. Look, if I had to choose a number 9 in the middle in a situation with dropping Lacazette, it would be Martinelli. Smith Rowe can play the 10. He can play on the left, but a central striker, I don't know if he's that good holding up the ball. I don't know whether he's that good in the air. I don't know whether he can switch on his wrong foot and make something happen. But I do know that Martinelli can do that. Martinelli, I've said many times before, the most talented player on this team is Pepe. I've repeated that 1,000 times. But Martinelli is not too far behind. In fact, I might even go as far to say that I think both players' talent levels are pretty much equal. The difference is,
I think Pepe, I've always said Apollo, Pepe can play the 9 out of 10. When Pepe the first game Pepe played for us was against Liverpool, when Emery isolated him on Van Dijk, and he had Van Dijk and Robertson on skates. He missed the goal. He had a clear goal, one-on-one to score. And when he played Lille, he cuts in quite a bit. He was in the middle of the park a lot. And when you're that skillful in the middle of the park, you beat your man, you're going straight to goal. You're not trying to come in from out wide, right? If I dismiss you in the middle of the park, I'm going straight to goal. I'm creating mismatches. He does physically toward our physical defenses, but he needs to get more opportunities. And Arteta says, I want to sign a new contract. At the same time, he's saying, well, he wants to play, so I'm not sure. He doesn't say that about anybody else, right? There's no qualifiers when he talks about Lacazette to sign. There's no qualifiers when he talks about Nketiah. There's always qualifiers with Pepe because he's not a Pepe fan.
Yeah, I agree.
We all are Pepe fans, by the way. If you listen to AFTV, any other channel, they're all Pepe fans, except Arteta.
Yeah, there's a lot of people on 101 forums who are watching us now who ain't Pepe fans, I can tell you that. Good evening, Alex. I hope you enjoyed the game. I hope everything is going well, bro. Diaz says also, Lacazette's easiest chance nearly went out for a corner. In the beginning of this video, and some of you guys who have only just joined us have probably already watched that, I made a statement that he's had 7 chances to score against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup, against Wolves, against Burnley, and today. And in all 7 chances Lacazette's had, he's not hit the target once. 3 out of those chances were one-on-ones with the goalkeeper where he was played through. Look, man, at some point you got to say...
Apollo, he's the captain.
I don't care, man. I don't care as a captain. Bertram, he ain't even hitting the target. He's not even hitting the target, Bertram.
If you want the captaincy for Arsenal, just say you're going to leave and you get the captaincy. That's all. Just be the last year contract and you get a captaincy.
And let's go to Andrew. Andrew says Tyrion, who did it with his goals. Patrick did it with his presence. I agree. He says Dennis Bergkamp, Freddie Lundberg, Robert Perez contributed hugely too. I think Arteta, look, the benefit with Arteta is he knows Arsenal. He understands the ethics, the values of the club. He's been here for a very long time, not so much as a manager. Even when he was at Man City, he was still eyeing this team down, doing his homework, seeing what was going on. You know, he was under Arsene Wenger's wing and took everything he knew and learned from Arsene Wenger. So I think that's the reason why when Bertrand brought up the substitutions, I think that might be something Arteta needs to let go, because there is reminiscence of Wenger in some of his decisions, and definitely the substitutions. I will 100% agree with that. Kurt, good evening. Me and Vincey met up with Kurt today. It was fantastic to talk to you. Nice one, Kurt. It says, evening panel. Good win. Shame about the result in Manchester. I know. We were just talking about that. Even Chelsea's late winner. I know. I mean, what have we got to do? But still in our hands. Yes, it most definitely is. Dubai also says, when he talked about Smith Rowe, he talked about him as a false 9. So,
no.
As a false 9, I would still put Pepe.
Good. Yeah, he's not even a true winger either. Yeah. He's almost like a false winger, false 9. He's a hybrid.
False number 10. Just yeah.
He's not a true tender because he's not giving those subtle passes like Odegaard does between the line. He's a football player. He's a very good football player, but I don't see him fit into any one of those positions seamlessly.
Hey, and we're going to talk about Odegaard later on, man. Oh, my word. Some of the balls that Odegaard was putting through were Ozil-esque. But we'll come to that in the player ratings when we start up. I just want to finish, introduce Vincey, and then go through these other comments. It says, hey, Alex, great result. Dubai also says, Pepe is the best goal scorer, crazy ability. Martinelli is best at coming in from the left. Smith Rowe can orchestrate. Yeah, I think, Bertram, I really do think that the time and the discussion for playing with a false 9 is where it needs to be with this team. We're just not getting anything from the anchor position, like anything. And as I said, some people might want to tell me about the 2 assists that Lacazette have had, and today you got to give him credit for the assist. But the one against Wolves, I ain't giving him no credit for that. And
which assist are you talking about?
You see what I mean? Even Bertrand says what assist. The one where Gabriel scored.
Which one are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm talking about the one where Gabriel scored. So against Wolves, Ben White headed the ball into the box. Exactly. Thank you, Bertram. Thank you. So we move on to Andrew. Andrew says, Laka needs to talk with Zuma about hitting targets. And Pepe would struggle in the middle. I don't think he will. Pepe had 3 players on him on the sidelines today, and they couldn't get the ball off him. He couldn't get the ball off him. But I think in saying that, Pepe, there's certain things Pepe has to develop for me. He's got to be a lot quicker with the ball. Pepe slows the game down when he wants to, and maybe that's something that Arteta doesn't want. Xhaka slows it down as well, but I guess, I
don't feel that way, actually. Pepe got to be more careful with the ball. So Saka slows the ball down too also. But he's always trying to set his man up or looking for a pass. Pepe sometimes is careless of the ball, because when you're as skillful as he is, you can beat anyone, anytime, any place. It doesn't always work like that.
So
his
Vincey,
lack of carefulness with the ball frustrates Arteta. I mean, that's why he doesn't rate him.
So Vincey, as you guys know, I went with the game with Vincey today. It was his first game in 9 years. Vincey, tell us about your experience today at the Emirates and what you thought about. I didn't get the chance to take Bertram to the Emirates, by the way, but hopefully I will meet up with Bertram at some point. September, I'm looking to come to New York in September, Bertram.
Okay, now I've been to the Emirates. I've been in a couple of the boxes. I used to go to the Emirates. I had a friend of mine who used to get tickets for one of those boxes that had some of the players in there. So I go a few games.
Excellent.
Wow, man. Yeah, man. Today was just huge to be back into our home to obviously watch a game after my injury 7 years ago. So it was just nice to see the guys who are playing football. You know, I think Apollo's got great seats, so you can actually see. I could see today the way how the team set up, how we've improved in our formation, and I can see what Arteta has been doing since he's come. He has made a difference. I see the frustrations that I've been talking about a lot in the final third, and this is something that Arsenal have had a lot after under Arsene Wenger with movement in the final third and
with Emery
and crossing and also seeing the runs that today Emma Smith Rowe was making some nice runs, but the players like White or Suarez wasn't confident enough to put those balls in those positions. Now we go back to the days where we love Arsenal under Wenger, where Dennis Bergkamp would be making those same runs, and after a while, you'll have your defenders putting those balls in there because they can see what Dennis Bergkamp will do and create that space. And this is something that on the training, when I talked about training, is where Arteta has to develop Arsenal's killer instinct in opening up teams. And it was clear today, Brentford were there for the taking. I thought it was going to be 3-0. And at first half, there were so many opportunities where we just had the ball, but lacked that maturity and creativity in breaking down Brentford. So that's the areas where Arteta's going to have to work. And I personally believe it's going to be Lacazette is going to be key in replacing Lacazette with a striker who's going to be mobile and he's going to be willing to make those runs. He's going to have to replace Xhaka because we can't have three men in the midfield with Xhaka, Partey and Odegaard not making those runs behind. So someone's going to have to make those runs. They're going to have to get somebody. And when they do, Odegaard should be able to have enough runners and movement in front of him to make the killer passes, because this is where it's going to take Arsenal to the next level. But it was just a beautiful experience for me, and I think it was very calming. I got a big hurdle today in my health recovery, but it was just nice just to be in the ground and just, see the Arsenal faithful singing away, young and old. It was just nice, man. Really pleasant experience. So I appreciate it.
We can always go get Willock, and he was brilliant today.
He was. And have you noticed they've started playing him now?
No. But here's the thing: the new kid they bought, Guimaraes, whatever his name for Brazilian, he can't get in the team because he's supposed to take Willock's spot, and Willock is playing so well, he can't get him out of the team.
Yeah, and they've taken.
And by the way, Apollo, he's fit. He's fit. He's running all game. He's always in the box. Unlike our team, like I can't get in the box. He's in the opponent's box and his box defending.
Yeah, that's right. I saw it. And they're not playing him as a 6 anymore, Bertram. They were playing him. I talked to a few of their fans. They were frustrated because they had some issues at the beginning of the season with the 6 role. So he was playing in, say, Partey's position. And you spent 25 pounds.
I don't agree with that. Million. I think they were playing 3 across. They're playing 3 across. But he has latitude to go forward. And Joey Linton is almost like a 3 slanted where Shelby stayed really low, right? He's really back. Joe Linton and Willock get a chance to roam, but Willock is the one who goes forward the most of the three, actually.
I think that's been happening over the last 2 or 3 games now. I can definitely see that. But previously, before, he definitely wasn't doing that. And that's what was standing. I was like, why is this guy not even getting into the box? What is going on here? So I'm really happy for Joe Willock. And look, I just like the player. I've always been a fan. And I hope he does well there. I hope that's going to kick off to something. But let's just cover a few of these other things before we go into the player ratings. Richard says, hey, Lapapolo and Stan, questions. Should Arsenal try buying their way to trophies? Number 2, having seen Lampard ousted and not looking apart, is Arteta really that cup-winning guy? But the first question, I'll let Bertram, you can go after me. The first question, I would say that Arsenal have always, when we attended supporters club meetings, said that they labelled their budgets for spend and they will spend accordingly. Since Josh Kroenke has come in charge, all he's done is outspend every other team. There's no owner that has outspent Josh Kroenke since he took over the team in 2018. None. Not one single team has spent more money than him. So, but that comes with a caveat, as I've been saying for the last 12 months on this channel, when we were doing games under lockdown, I did say to you guys that the decision to front load the money over the next few years has been made to improve the team now, because Arsenal have always been a team that spend within their means, but they've changed. They have now taken the levy from the money they're getting over the next few years to improve the team now, so that they can produce the results now, which, by the way, will have its cash flow benefits. Now, what I mean by that is, if you make the Champions League this year, that's 42 million into the kitty. So the 150 million you spent last year starts to look good, because the 150 million you spent is actually bringing in more revenue because of how Team the Good is. So there's a way that you can look at this in various different settings. I talked to Vincey today about the players they released in January, releasing the contracts. Some fans are moaning because we never got a penny for them. But what those fans are not doing is arithmetic. You're not doing the fact that Arsenal have saved £16.6 million in salaries. To them, that's a gain, not a loss. So Arsenal fans are looking at this thing in glass half full, half empty. If you look at it on the books, what Arsenal have done essentially is they've gained that money. Everything counts. When you're coming in at a loss, and by the way, this is the big week for Arsenal to produce their finances for last year. And as I said last summer, I said to you guys, I'm expecting losses of around 144 million. The word is now it's going to be in the region of around 150 million. So I was around the ballpark in my numbers. But that is massive. On top of the 82 million they've lost over the last 2 seasons, Arsenal are in the red, but that's not a big deal. It's manageable. Some teams have debt which they can't come out of. Most businesses have debts which are controlled. This is a controlled debt because of the revenue coming in from the fans now, and because of the new deals from the Emirates and Adidas that's coming in 2024. So I don't want to bore anybody anyway with the long talk, but my answer is that Arsenal are still spending them within their means, but they've got a little bit out of that to sort of mortgage the future to make the team ready now. So their spending cannot be in question. I think that the next discussion is, what are they doing with the money? We don't want a Mari, we don't want a Willian, and we don't want a situation where you're forcing people to stay by giving them astronomical amount of money like Ozil and Aubameyang. So I think we can all agree, as long as we're not doing that kind of foolishness, then we're in good stead. Point number 2, Bertram, do you want to add to point number 1? Do you want to add to that? Or Vincey?
I was quite interesting and contradictory when we have a socialist construct in Europe with a capitalist football or sporting concept, and the US, you have a capitalist government with a socialist sports construct. So money talks in European football, right? Go to the top 4 leagues, it's the one with the most money that normally wins. In the UK, it's meant to be the most money. In Spain, it's Barca and Real Madrid. In Germany, it's Bayern. And in the French league, it's PSG. They're the ones who have the most money. They're the ones who buy the best players. They're the ones who normally wins. So it's the question answer itself, which is you buy your way the trophies. if you look at Chelsea book, I think they had a 1 point something billion. Abramovich led the club. It's a really interesting way of funding it. That's debt to the owner. You put it in terms of debt, and it funds the operation, right? It's not my money. So if Kroenke want to borrow money and spend it, his asset is appreciating. He's increasing his debt. If he sells the club, he still can pay up debt. Strong. Who's going to buy it may buy the debt. So I don't worry about those things. I think we have to buy our way smartly to trophies because we have bought our way poorly to mediocrity, frankly. We buy players with no set-on value. That's not the way to do business. We're like Everton, the worst Everton. But the only team that really didn't have money, even though the owner has money, the one who died, and that's one is Leicester, between winning the Premier League and also winning the FA Cup. They're the only team that spent prudently. Look at Man U, for example. Spent a ton of money, haven't done anything since Fergie left. So money talks. Chelsea's money, Man City's money. Liverpool has been a smart model. I think Liverpool is now the benchmark about how you build a team instead of selling the Coutinhos and the Suarez, investing that money into the Salahs and the Manes and the Diaz of the world, and find the best manager, frankly. I think he's better than our friend Guardiola. That's the model you want to employ, not what you see with even Chelsea or even Man City or Man U. But if you have money like the people in the North Africa, you can spend whatever you want. And Newcastle, by the way, in 3-4 years, will be up there with the Liverpool and the Man Cities. Remember I said that, no doubt in my mind, 3-4 years are going to be that. They're going to buy some players they can get rid of now to keep them in the league. Then they go out and buy the best players because they can pay them $1 million, £1 million a week, like Mbappe will get from Real Madrid. If you normalize, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to follow on the back of what Bertram says. I think we do need to buy our way to trophies, and I think we are, but we've got to buy smartly in regards to the young players that are out in the world, because we have a good youth system coming through, and we've got to identify a way of how we're playing and whether these young guys who are coming through fit into that system. So when we buy young to fit into that system so we can be productive. As long as Arteta has his game plan and the right game plan based on the youngsters that we have, buying young at affordable, and as Bertrand says, if we have to sell, we're making money back on those. We have to start turning the tables on making back money on players that we sell. Once we do that, your system and tactics will bring us trophies. It's very key. It's not just buying highly paid and world-class talent just because they're world-class. They've got to fit into our system.
And that's the key.
One last thing, Apollo and Vinci, which is this. We buy players or we bring players on for free and we can't get rid of them because we overpay them.
Yeah.
That means we have to overpay to get people to come to us. Even Arteta said we're a big club. No, we overpay Kolasinac. We overpay Cedric. We overpay to bring people on. So when they want to leave, they're not good enough for someone to pay them £100,000 a week.
We're just desperate on both levels, and we've got to sort that out.
Yeah, and time will tell how much they've learned from that. I mean, at the moment, the net debt is the problem at the moment because the net debt has substantially increased. It was 42 million in 2019 before COVID, and it's now 108 million. So that's net. We don't worry about gross debt. Gross debt is manageable. The gross debt is still over 200 million. That's not going anywhere. But I think what you have to understand is, while I'm talking about net debt, which is the most important figure because that's the one that is really you're hanging your head over. That's not manageable. That's the one that you've got to get rid of fast. We're still in a great position because COVID has taken us out of our comfort zone as a sustainable club. COVID has really put us into this hole. When we look at the bigger picture, Man United's net debt is still, 455 million? Tottenham's net debt is 600 million. Remember, they just built the stadium. So when you look at 108 million, it's still good. And that's why I expect us to, this summer, we're going to go out, we're going to get a striker, we're going to get a couple of pieces, but don't expect us to do too much next year. Don't expect it. And you know what fans are like. When no signings are happening, they just lose their freaking mind. But don't expect anything to be happening because at some point, the calculator, the books have to make sense. Quick one with Andrew. Andrew says Kelly Brooks or Amir Khan.
I think Kelly's going to win.
You know what? Khan's 35, but it's a tough one, man. I'm going to go for Khan. I'm going to go with the proven.
I've always liked Khan, but I think Kell Brooks he's going to be on a mission.
Has Kell Brooks just recover?
I don't think so.
Look,
G says
it's a tough fight because Kell Brooks has been much more active than Khan over the last few years.
G says,
yeah.
Ooh, I just realized. G says 3 points, dominant performance in which we should have had a penalty on the White Lacquer incident. 24 attempts, but only 8 on target. Bro, it was 16 attempts and 2 on target at half.
We have aimless crossing, which has to go. Or you don't cross the ball and hope, and then once you have 20 crosses, who did you cross the ball to? You're kicking the ball to the defenders. They have 8 deep. You kick the ball to the defenders. They kick it back out. It comes back to you. Do the same thing over and over. No thought process about how I break the defense down. It's a waste. And frankly, if you guys noticed this, which was interesting in the game, it was a reflection of the Spurs-Man City game, except Spurs-Man City was a little more strategic. When they decided to come out after we scored the first goal, they almost got chances to score, you know. In fact, one is controlled by, what's his name? The kid that's playing in front. He uses his left versus his right foot. He was in on goal. Another one where the player got called for being offside, just bare offside. When they decided to go play against us, they got chances. Which doesn't say to me that we're dominant as much as we think we were. We had a lot of possession, but was it effective possession? That's what I always ask the question.
Well, I mean, it would if you've got 20 shots. If you have 24
how many on targets again?
Yeah, that's due to the players, not anything else. That's just the inability of the players not to be.
Yeah, but they weren't like Keeper made brilliant saves, right? He didn't make any brilliant saves for the entire game.
Actually, Thomas Partey put one on the postage stamp, and the goalie made a great save.
There was no pace on the ball.
No, he placed it, but
it's a good placement, but there's no pace on the ball.
Moses says, Apollo, what's your typical striker by this summer? I've kind of changed my tune on that because, I was all in with Vlahovic. But remember what I thought about James Maddison last summer when I said I wouldn't spend 70 million on him. I'd rather get a goalie, a right back, and a central midfielder. So I'm kind of thinking the same way about the strikers now. So I would take Calvin Lewin to me is too expensive. I would try and get that at reduced costs. Isak, I'm a big Isak fan. I would get that as a reduced cost. My 2 moves that I would probably make, which I think would be worth it, was put Gabriel Martinelli at the striker. I would do that. My second thing is Lautaro Martinez at Inter. I do like him. I've always liked him. I've liked him better than Isak, and I know he's had a 60 million tag on him. Now I'm hearing that he might go for 40 million in the summer. If that's the deal, I would definitely scoop him up. I would then again. Calvert Lewin is 24. I do like him as a player, but for me, he's not the finished article yet. I know he's not in his prime, but I think being with a better club will make him better. So I wouldn't say he's my first choice, but I do like him. But I guess your question was first choice. So me, I like Martinelli. I think if Martinelli plays up there, he's going to surprise a lot of people. Sometimes what you're looking for is in your backyard, and you just don't get the chance. But I do like Lautaro Martinez. I think that would be me. I do like him, and I do like Isak.
Perfect strike. There's no Kane. There is no Kane out there we can go buy. There's no Lewandowski to go get. I like Broja, the Chelsea loanee to Southampton. I think he has a complete package. Still raw, 20 years old, has speed, has skill, decent in the air, good hold-up player. Isak, they've talked about a lot. I don't think he's a good enough goal scorer, but he's a very good forward. Martinez is a good player, but Premier League is a different kettle of fish. So I don't see a perfect striker out there. I am not a Calvin Lewin fan. Watch him play quite a bit because I watch Everton quite a bit. Doesn't have a complete game to me. Haven't seen him be the player since ever been playing to get by a defender. Great in the air.
What do you think of Stick?
Huh?
What do you think of Schick?
No, I'm saying I'm Schick. Haven't watched him enough to make a decision on him. I haven't seen him enough.
Let's go into the player ratings. I know Steve Richard has shared great breakdown. SP Part 1, gents. How about Arteta? Look, I trust in what Arteta's doing. If I didn't, then I wouldn't be on board with this whole program. I'm interested to see where we're going to be in that third year, and it looks like things are going in the right direction from where we are right now. When we hit if we hit the Champions League this season, it would be a monumental success. Coming from a club with bad culture, high debts. I mean, our wage bill was 282 million. It's 210 now. We've shaved 72 million off our yearly wage bill. We've gone from having a team that had lost its ability to perform at home to performing again. And the away record is improving. We're not yet. There's a long way to go. The away record is going to depend a lot on the success that this team will have as far as a top 4 spot. But I think if we're going to get there, it will be for that reason. If we're going to get top 4, it will be because Arteta has sorted out the away form. And there are a lot of people that think that we can achieve top 4. When we came into the season, many of us thinking we ain't even getting top 6. So isn't that a great place to be? That's a fantastic place to be.
My question with Arteta is, at what point is he going to try again to instill this false 9 into this current Arsenal team, and whether or not he has that false 9 who is clinical enough to, when they get chances, take them? I think that will be interesting to see how it develops. I believe Arteta is and can develop this team now that he's got rid of so many players. The key thing is whether or not you've seen it already. He wants to play that false 9, but it's whether or not he believes in. I can't see that false 9 working with Xhaka. But then again, it could work depending on who he gets in this. But we've got to have better movement, and that's something that I want to see. If he can get that working in training, we've seen already that we're a hard team to beat against certain teams once that we turn up. We just need to be a bit more clinical and take some chances.
Okay, so we just lost African Guna. There's I don't know whether it's Hurricane. I don't know whether it's Hurricane Eunice or anything, but we just lost the African Guna and Bertram. So before we go into my player ratings, let's get African Guna's overall say on the game today. What's going on, man, African Guna?
All good, all good. Yeah, classic Arsenal win, and when Arsenal wins, it really makes my entire weekend. So it just makes it worth it. It makes all the suffering in the week of work and everything else, just makes it worth it. So yeah, really enjoyed the game. I think common themes for me still is that we struggle to score. I think I don't know. There's a part of me that feels like we'll win a lot of games 1-0. I know we created a lot of chances today, but again, we're not clinical enough. Like I said, not clinical enough. Some bad decision making from his part. Sometimes where he should be passing, to Smith Rowe or Saka and put them 1-on-1, and he's going for like a top bins from like 20 yards. I mean, just ridiculous stuff when he's not even on form. I think Odegaard for me today was the man of the match. Completely dominated that game. It was amazing. It was like prime Ozil playing for us. I was.
What
really
did I say to you, Vincey? What did I say to you?
I was impressed. I was impressed, but I want to say, he had a lot of space, right? He wasn't getting pressured. There was times where I saw him. He was just walking with the ball, right? And the Brentford players were just looking at him, and they really just couldn't get close to him. So I think when just like Ozil, when the game is not physical, when we have time, when we're dominating the game, that really unlocks his skills for me. So, yeah, it was really good to see Odegaard play well. I think Tierney played well as well today. I think Cedric played well. I still would go with Tomiyasu, going forward. I don't understand why people are even, suggesting that Tomiyasu shouldn't come back into this team. People have very short memory. It's just Yeah,
Tomiyasu is the best right back in the league right now.
But yeah, in terms of Ramsdale, didn't have much to do. I recently watched a compilation of Ramsdale, and like it really highlighted for me the massive difference he's made into our team. The transition, he just gets us out of that press so quickly. He can make that pass, and boom, we're out of the gates, and the team is on. Our opposition is on the back foot. So that's something we haven't had in our game, as a tool. And so, I mean, today he didn't have much to do, but again, did what he could. Ben White and Gabriel, super strong. I must say, Xhaka had a good game. As much as I hate to say it, I have some comments about it. I mean, he made one foul in the beginning where he tried to pull the man, and I think that should have been a yellow card. But apart from that, he was good. He was winning a lot of his headers today, which I usually don't see him doing. And although at times he held onto the ball a little bit too much for me, overall I think his game was good. I'm also super happy he didn't take the captain's armband. I think that's exactly what I want to see. He needs to just focus on his game. I mean, for me, my stance doesn't change. He needs to go this summer, but we know he's going to play every game. So for me, forget about it. I think it was a smart decision. Don't take the armband. Give it to Tierney. Just focus on your game and do what you're supposed to. Pepe coming on with a lot of skills. We were completely dominating at that point, but he pulled out a couple of skill moves, which I enjoyed. I really hope he gets more minutes because I don't see Eddie Nketiah really bringing in the goals for us, or Lacazette for that matter. Smith Rowe with his classic goal. He loves that goal, right? When he just drives at you and then he's going for that bottom right or bottom left. I mean, he scored it too many times this season, and that's his 9th goal in the Premier League. So you got to respect it. It's a bunch of, a lot of talent. And there was this one specific move on the left wing where he plucked it from the sky and then he just shimmied the guy and he left him for dead. And then we ended up getting a corner. But I mean, that move alone, like you can tell that he's skillful. So it makes me puts me in a really tough position in terms of who are we going to play on that left wing, because I love Martinelli and I think Martinelli should come back. But I mean, he's scoring, Smith Rowe's scoring. So how do you pull him out of the team right now? So it's going to be really interesting to see what Arteta does next week against Wolves. But yeah, for me, Saka as well. Go for it.
I think he plays Martinelli as a striker. I've been begging. He's got to do something with that position because he's getting nothing from Lacazette. And you might be able to get away with it in games like this, but as the fixtures start piling up and you've got the Liverpools and you've got the West Hams and you've got the Chelseas that we've got to play in, then you just can't.
What I'll say about Lacazette, he's bringing hold up play, and he's also bringing some of he fouls a lot. Sometimes it's carelessly, but that may be to our benefit. Sometimes it slows the game, etc., etc. Whereas I don't see Martinelli, winning the ball as much, and just he just has this knack of getting his toe right before the defender gets there, and he causes the foul. You might have missed what I said to
you might have missed what I said to Bertram and Vinci before you came on. Lacazette's last 7 shots against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup, against Wolves, against Burnley, and today he's had 7 shots. None of them have been on target, not a single one, and 3 of them were in one-on-one situations with the goalkeeper.
You
can't do
African Gunnar, Laka's time has come. Time to go, Laka.
Laka's time has come a long time. We should have got rid of him last season. But we're so desperate because of the lack of decision making that we're forced to just do with what we have, and we're we want to put faith in these players, but I really can't put faith in Lacazette. He's holding us down right now. If we had any other elite striker, even a Walcott, even a Shamak, would be scoring more goals than Lacazette is right now, and that's really disappointing.
And it's a shame because when he scored today and it was disallowed, I turned around to Vinci and I said that would have done him a world of good. He's devoid of confidence. He can't even hit the target.
Apollo. He shouldn't have been offside.
No, but it wasn't him.
It was Xhaka.
Yeah, it was Xhaka.
I thought Xhaka was offside.
No, it was Xhaka.
No, it was Xhaka that was offside. So, but he also, I think, should have done better in his run. Even though Xhaka was offside, I think he still should have held his run regardless, right? It's about the practice, because in a different scenario, Xhaka wouldn't have been offside, and then he would have been, right? So
agreed. Right, so guys, I'll go first. I'm going to go with a Ramsdale with a 6. Overall assured on the ball. in terms of catches and coming out of the box. I thought he did a good job with that. They had 2 or 3 balls which was played into the box, and I think there was only one of them that he didn't get out to on time, which really, that was a great chance for them to score. But for the others, he did a good job with that. Really nice long ball to Xhaka. That was the standout distribution pass to me when he hit Xhaka in stride and broke the defensive line in the first half. But he gave 3 passes away in his distribution, something I've never seen him do. I said to Vincey, what's going on there? There was one clear pass. It was an easy 40-yard pass. And I believe it was on the right side. So it was to Saka. And it goes straight to a yellow shirt. And I said to Vincey, that's not like him. But it happened a couple of times today. So I knocked him down a point. So he's getting a 6 from me. A mixed bag from Ramsey today. But certain times when the ball came in high in the box, he did come out, caught it, never dropped a catch. Hands were assured. And that's nice to see. Cedric, in the last game, I didn't give him a 7. I gave him a 6.5 because I said to myself, I can't believe I'm giving him a 7. So I gave him a 6.5. I'm giving him a 7 today. He's assured at the back. He's proved his worth as a squad player to me. It's nice in these recent weeks that we've had someone like him that we can put in there because of Tomiyasu. He got forward well. The accuracy on his deliveries, are on point. And not just his crosses, which he did last week as well, mind you. It's his corners. Oh my word. I think there was only one corner out of the 8 that he took it was overhit, wasn't it, Vincey? It missed the back line and went out for a throw on the other end. Yeah. Every single other corner Cedric took was right on the 6-yard line. Bang! And I think the frustration was we didn't have a Giroud or Shamak or someone like that who could actually put their head on it. That's the real shame. You look at this team and you're thinking, who's going to score? We know Rob Holding can do that. We know Luis can do that.
Gabriel.
But Gabriel. But the thing is, you see, they were locking Gabriel. They had 2-man stunts on him, so he couldn't get open. So they had locked us out. So there was nothing we could do. But he doesn't have great heading ability, Cedric, I have to say. That's where Tomiyasu's 6'2" frame really, really comes into play. But, he could have had a few assists today had somebody just got themselves in the box on the end of what he's doing. Really good game from Cedric. Well done, well done. Ben White, again, shows the ability to get forward to break the press. Don't you just love it when we get overloaded and he looks at that space and he's just gone? He did that 3 times today, and that really hurts a team that's pressing. Because when you press, you're all in, and you've committed 3 or 4 opposing players into the Arsenal box, and this guy just looks up and he's gone. It's like a running back that sees the hole, and he's just got nothing but green in front of him, and he's not turning the ball over when he goes into the midfield. Ben White, he's looking for the smart pass, simple and easy pass, so that we can keep possession. A lot of times you see defenders bring the ball out the box. Rob Holding does this as well. And then, yes, I've done it. I've got to the halfway line. Now what do I do with the ball? They get dispossessed or they give the ball away. This guy doesn't do it. Really nice to see. Dealt with the pacey threat of on the counter well. So I thought that Gabriel 5. Now, Bertrand, when we talk about quarterbacks getting late hits and offensive linemen standing up for their players, when Xhaka got fouled, it was no, it wasn't Xhaka, it was Partey. When Partey got fouled by Janssen and Gabriel bumped up to him, and bust him, that's what you want. That's how you want your players to respond when somebody gets a cheap shot on the other team. Nothing dirty, but just to let them know, if you boss our players around, we're going to boss you around. And I liked when he did that, sticking up for his players. And defensively, he used his pace well to deal with the through balls as well. So Gabriel gets a slightly higher mark than White. Kieran Tierney, after the Burnley disaster, he was the worst player on the pitch. I'm giving him a 6 today. He did look better. I thought he was timid in the first half. Vincey made a point that he was wary on the counter-attack because Tomiyasu wasn't there. I take that on board. But I'm still giving him a 6. He offered some assistance to Smith Rowe in the second half, but it wasn't there in the first half. And because of that, we looked a little bit more assured. There were overlaps. There were 1-2s being played, some triangles as well. And it's nice, but I'd like to see him get involved more often. Still not back to his best yet, but he kept us from being exposed. And so that was a decent game from Tierney today. Thomas Partey gets a 7. Second 7 in a row now. Very focused performance from him. He kept things tight in the midfield. Closed down those spaces, which really helped the team, but we wasn't under much threat today, so I have to add that in. But he's becoming a presence in the midfield, and great counter-attacking assist for the Bukayo Saka goal. I thought he did really well there. And speaking of Saka, Saka gets an 8. His goal was the difference today, guys. Brentford's problem down the right. I've talked long about his ability of being clinical in front of goal. Remember when I used to say this guy, he doesn't know how to shoot, everything goes directly at the goalkeeper. Now, when you watch his shot selection, bottom left low, bottom right low, making it very difficult for the goalkeeper to get a hand on. And that tells me he's done a lot. He's worked on his finishing. And that is that's a great sign for a 20-year-old player. And the goals are starting to come. I believe, what has he got, 7 or 8 goals this season now in all competitions? It's just fantastic. Showing composure in front of goal is the one thing that he was lacking in his game. And I really like the way he's going at the moment now. My man of the match, Odegaard, gets an 8.5 out of 10. Best player on the pitch, created 6 chances today. Outstanding display, involved in everything going forward. Nobody in the last 3 months in the Premier League has created more chances than this guy, period. Even in January when we were dog shit, yeah, he's still performing. Those balls, I think my frustration is, and that's why I was glad with La African Guna with what he said, because my frustration is he doesn't get enough credit from the fan base. For some of the balls he played through, 2 balls today, one where he looped the ball over 3 defenders and fell right onto Smith Rowe's knee in the box. And the other one, remember Vincey, where Saka was running in between 2 defenders, couldn't have been half a foot yard, and he threads the needle right into the box. Yeah? Threads the needle.
Yeah.
And actually, like African Guna, I think if Saka went down there, it would have been a shout for a penalty.
Yeah, I agree.
He wobbles a little bit and stays on his feet, and he doesn't sell it. I think if he sells it, that goes to VAR, because there was definitely contact there, and it was in the box as well. But I mean, like, this guy right now, he's Arsenal's attack. He is. He's Arsenal's attack. Like, with him on the pitch, we just look like a better team going forward. Lacazette, I'm going to give a 5. I'm really trying my hardest with this. I really am. I'm trying so hard. But the amount of chances he's missed for a striker at this level, that's what you're paid to do. Remember my YouTube video where I said, when Aubameyang's there, you can be the Robin to his Batman, but when Aubameyang's gone, you need to be Batman. And we're still seeing Robin. We ain't seeing no Batman out there. He's not the main man. He's not playing like he's carrying this team on his shoulders. Remember the FA Cup run where Aubameyang was making himself accountable? This guy's wasting so many chances now that I think it's time that you change it up. Sorry, guys. I know I'm a big fan of his as well, and he has a lot of fans in the fan base. But for me, he's not getting it done. And change it now while it doesn't cost you. Don't let us go into a big game where a display like this is going to cost you. Let's change it now while we've got the chance to. Arteta, 7. You know what? Arteta gets an 8. Me and Vincey was talking about what to do at halftime. I actually went down in the tunnel and said that Smith Rowe needs to be more assertive on the ball along with Saka. All these crosses coming into the box accounting for nothing. Keep the ball and just run inside the box, take on defenders, and make something happen. And within 5 minutes of the second half, that's exactly what he did. So, kudos. Somebody must be listening to me in there in the Emirates. I know I'm in the same place in the stairways every game. So somebody must have a mic on me to hear what I'm saying. So you look really good. I mean, Arteta, after the first half, 80% possession, 16 shots, 9 corners, only 2 on target. Arteta knew. He changed it up. And look, he's going with Suarez, continues to look solid. And he's getting a little bit more out of his midfield now. And some big tests coming up for Arteta soon. But I can't believe he's got this team. I never, in my wildest dreams, thought he would get this team in position to challenge for Europe in this way. I didn't. And this is a game that is indicative of how he's changed the team tactically. So I'm going to give him an 8 today. Who wants to go next? La African Guna. I would normally go in that circle there, but
I'm going to jump off after this because it's late for me. I just wanted to come on.
Okay,
and chat.
So let's let La African Guna go. You got the cards, bro.
Cool. Quickly on Ramsdale, I'm going to give him a 6.5. I think, as I said, even though he had an easy game, I think we're underappreciating some of the positioning he took, where he comes out and he pressures the attacker. Maybe much because he's pressing, where maybe Leno would stay in his goal. And then, I don't know, for me, I feel like it was a 6.5, even though he didn't have much to do today. Cedric is 7. I think he had a couple of times where he had a bad touch and he almost lost the ball. I think he was really, really good in terms of taking shots today. I think that was definitely a penalty in the one where he shot it on the ground. Defender just slid and it bounced off his hand. I mean, Man City got the penalty for it. I don't understand why we didn't. But I think, as soon as I'm pretty sure on Thursday, Tomiyasu's coming straight back into the team. But I think, as you said, Apollo, it's just good to see that he's proving himself as a squad player, whereas in previous seasons, like the last 2, I don't think he has been. So this season, or at least in the performances he's been putting in so far, he's been good. I think he also changed the dynamic of the team because he was overlapping for Saka, whereas Tomiyasu doesn't do that. So I think it gave us more attacking threat today. But again, and I'm sure Bertrand will highlight this. I mean, amazing performance and everything, but we're playing Brentford. We completely dominated. They didn't even threaten us, period. So yes, it was amazing and stuff, but again, we need to remind ourselves that we played Brentford, right? So I think if Cedric plays against Adama Traore or any top winger, he's gonna get destroyed, right? So
why are you stealing my thunder?
Hey, just minds think alike, I say it how I feel. Like I'm super happy, but I'm also, I don't want to get over the top. Anyways, with Ben White, I agree with you, Apollo. He just breaks that line way too well. He's so mobile, right? As a center back, he's just he's like, you can tell he's a ball playing midfielder that has been converted into a center back. What I love is that he keeps looking for Saka with that over the top ball. I mean, there was a couple of times where he just hit it and it wasn't on, but a lot of the time Saka's on it, and when we have Martinelli on the other side, it's just you can choose which one you want because they're both gonna run, and that gives us an outlet ball a lot of the times because Lacazette can't do that, right? And Aubameyang wasn't doing that for us either. So I'm really happy with Ben White, and I think his partnership with Gabriel is really interesting. I think it's really strong, and I'm curious to see what happens when Saliba comes in. I don't know who gets dropped because they're all amazing. It's going to be really interesting to see how Arteta is going to be able to manage that if Saliba is actually going to be coming back to us. Gabriel, 7. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I think holding Saliba, White, and Gabriel will take you into, if you're in the Champions League, that's a good place to be.
Yeah, fair enough. And you see, I'm okay with Holding being in the squad if he's that 4th man. I'm just not happy if he's that 2nd or 3rd guy because I don't think he's good enough. But if you're telling me he's going to be the 3rd or the 4th backup, the 4th rotation, I'm happy with that because I think he's a solid player to come in for the last 20 minutes or whatever and win those headers as we've seen him do before.
Yeah, he's had 3 very good games.
That's the evolution of this team that I'm really enjoying, right? All these squad players like Cedric, like cool, yeah, they're good squad players. When the star boys are injured or get a red card, then you bring these guys in and it's like, okay, cool. Because they're only going to be there for a game or 2 and I'm happy with that. Yeah, in terms of Gabriel, what a baller. I think he's so underrated. He's a good all-round player. He's not as good as Ben White in terms of his long ball ability or his ball playing ability, but he's solid, and I agree, 7.5. Total leadership abilities for me. Dominates, shows a lot of heart. And, I mean, as I said, even on the last one, when he scored against Wolves, right? I mean, he's scoring so many headers. I don't remember the last center back that scored so many headers for us. I think it was Koscielny. That's probably the last center back I can remember that was always scoring goals. It would at least score goals, and I had confidence that, from a corner or whatever, we're going to score. I was unlucky today. We had so many corners. I can't believe we didn't score from a corner today. We had so many corners, but he had a fantastic game. Tierney, I'm going to give a 6.5. I think he's coming back into his form. I think he looks way more confident. I think he enjoyed playing with Smith Rowe today on the left side. In terms of Xhaka, I'm going to rate him today because I think he had a good game. As I said, apart from that pull, that tug that he had, which I think he could have gotten a yellow card and it could have completely changed the whole game because, once he's on a yellow card, you're just sweating you're just sweating all game because you just can't bear to watch when he's going to make another foul. So I think he had a good game, but I want to reiterate that it was against an easy opposition, right? So I'm going to give him a 5.5. I think he had a solid game. Partey, I'm going to give a 7. I agree, totally dominant. He's looking way more comfortable in the team. He's looking way better physically for me. He did everything he needed to today. You can really tell the difference between Partey and Xhaka. I mean, when you watch them play, the certain moves and touches and like the thinking, it's just on another level. You can tell that he's way more experienced and just a better player. So I think he had a great game. 7. Odegaard, my man of the match, 8.5. 100% I agree. Today he dominated. That first half he dominated. It was like he was playing in his backyard. He was just doing whatever he wanted, and you could tell that his team knew today that he wanted the ball. Everyone was looking
every time.
He wanted to give him the ball. He was just dictating the whole game. Smith Rowe was looking for him. Saka was looking. Everyone was just looking to ask for him to just make the magic happen. And everyone was just making runs off of him. And that's what I love to see. And I if you remember last week, I think it was last week or 2 games ago, I told you he was trying too much. I felt like he was trying to nutmeg players. It was trying too much. Today, I like the way he played. He played simple, but it was efficient. Some of his through balls, we haven't seen through balls like that since Ozil or
I know,
Nacho.
yeah.
I mean, it was really good to watch. And unfortunately, we don't have deadly enough strikers yet, to finish those. But as soon as we get that striker in the summer, I mean, Odegaard is going to be having assists on assists next season. So I'm really happy to see that our money was worthily spent. In terms of Saka, when he scored that goal, the first thought I had in my mind was like, I can't wait to talk to Bertram. Because Bertram is always telling us about how Saka doesn't score, et cetera, about
he's
output.
Scoring now. He looks good, man.
I'm not going at Bertram. I'm just saying, he's improving, right? And we give him another few months. Think about it. Next season, he's going to even just be better and better and better. I think he's a 75 million pound player right now, and I think he's going to reach.
Still rated at 96. He's still rated at 96.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a 100 million pound player.
You guys need to stop drinking white rum before we come on this program. Don't drink it before we come on this program.
This is what I'm drinking, liquid fruit. So I think I'm all good. No, I think he had a solid game. I think he wasn't as involved as I would like, but I think physically as well, he's becoming stronger. I'm seeing him pull balls from out of the air when Ramsdale is doing a goal kick. And for a player like Saka, who's so small, I'm impressed by his ability to do that. And usually he just turns the player. He waits for it to get it. He waits for it. He grabs it on the ground and he just turns the player with his low center of gravity and he's gone. So I think he had a good game. I agree. I'm going to give him an 8. Smith Rowe, I'm also going to give an 8. Scored again. I mean, yeah, if this kid keeps on scoring, I might start liking, Martinelli's my favorite right now. But if Smith Rowe keeps scoring, you might find a little place in my heart. Right now, it's still Martinelli, but let's see what happens. As long as he keeps scoring and assisting, I'm happy. So,
I mean, I just want to say one thing to you. You look at a guy like Sancho, who was 75 million. He's played 14 games, and he's got 2 goals. And it just makes you appreciate the levels that Saka is. Sometimes we can't see it because, we can throw a critique at our own players because we want more. But the way, when you have someone good, is when other fans from other teams are bigging up your players. And when you see the way they talk about the Haaland boys, let's bring them in the argument together because there's 18 goals between the 2 of them. That's a lot. That's a lot. A 21-year-old and a guy who just turned 20 a few months ago in Saka. And so I just wanted to bring that up. What's that, Bertrand?
Can't wait for my time. Keep going.
No, I'm just saying, I don't hear I've never heard a single fan talk about Sancho in his performance.
Look, I think it's a bit of an unfair assessment because it is his first season and, he may turn into something good next year, right? So I think it's a bit unfair, but I see your point. I think we don't appreciate what we have sometimes, and that's always how it is. You think the grass is greener on the other side, but for me, it's also like Klopp and even Guardiola saying, Martinelli's going to be the next big thing. So it's not only, other fans, it's even like professional managers at the top of the game, saying watch out for these 2 kids because they're going to be something else. So I'm really impressed by them. And I just want them to do this in every game, be consistent. For me, I expect them to do this against Brentford. I want them to do this against Chelsea, against United. And when we get back into Europe, I want to see them do it there. And that's when I'm going to be like, okay, these guys are close to being world class. Right now, they're just super talented young stars for me. But yeah, to get to that next level, they need to do it against the big clubs, and they need to do it in Europe. And hopefully they'll have that opportunity next season. Lacazette, I think 5 is nice, Apollo. 5 is nice. I'm going to give him a 3.5. I'm just disappointed. And as you said, like, I want to support him, but I don't know how much longer I can keep, like, trying to manipulate myself to be like, yeah, he's going to do it today. He's going to do it today. Like, it's been a while. It's been a couple of months that I've been really just pushing myself to support him. And I'm like slowly losing that motivation because I see this team moving away from him. And I see we have better options in our team now to do better than he can. He can come off the bench maybe if we need him. We need style, but like we can't start him because he's just killing us. I mean, and it's not only about his shooting, even his passing. He's just making bad decisions. Like he's had so many opportunities today to put in Saka or to put in Smith Rowe, and he just messed up the pass, the simplest of pass. And you can see, honestly, Apollo, I think even if he scored, like maybe his confidence would have gone up a little bit, but I don't think he would have changed that much, to be honest. I think he'd still be missing and stuff. I don't know if he's disinterested or if it's just complete lack of form.
Well, I think the thing that frustrates me is I know football is your main sport, but me, Bertram, and Tony, we follow the NFL, we follow the NBA, we follow quite a lot of like big money sports. And the one consistent thing that we know is that when a player is in a contract year and his contract's running out, you always see his best performance. This is his contract year, and it's his worst performance. He's on par to score 8 goals this season. That's his worst return in his Arsenal career. In fact, that's his worst return in his football career. If you look at Leon and things like that. So he's trending in the bad way for his age. As Arsene Wenger says, when they lose it, they drop. He's falling off a cliff.
Yeah, and I also want to point out to the fact that his best friend is left, and I don't care what anybody says, that definitely has impacted him as well in terms of like, yeah, okay, he might be the leader, he might be the captain, but that was his best friend, man. They're both French speakers. I mean, it's a massive thing for me. I can honestly believe that he's lost a little bit of that motivation, that his best friend is gone. And let's be honest, he knows probably the real truth of what's happened there. I mean, Aubameyang and him have probably had that discussion of why he moved to Barcelona, right? Whether he agrees with it or not, he has that information, right? And that may affect the way he perceives Arteta and the way he wants to devote himself for the rest of the season. In terms of Arteta, I'm going to give him a 7. I think I want him to make subs a bit earlier, but again, I really can't complain. As long as we're winning every single game, I'll give Arteta a 10. Like, that is all I want right now. It's just the 3 points. I don't care about the performance. I mean, it would be nice, but honestly, it's all about the 3 points at the moment. It's all about making that top 4. It's in our hands, really, to be honest. I was bummed that Chelsea scored in the 89th minute because that would have done us a real favor. If they drew, we would have just been maybe 3 points behind them with a game in hand. So we would have been tied for 3rd, and that would have even opened up, more possibilities. But for now, I really think that we should just win all our games. And I'm just scared about the top teams, the Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, Man United, Tottenham. Those are the games that I'm not confident we can win. Against all the other teams, I think we should be winning. Like, my expectation going into those games, if it's a 1-0, 2-0, whatever, I want 3 points. And if we can draw some of the bigger games, then that'll just be a bonus for me.
Okay, right. And have you done Arteta?
Yeah, he gave him a 7.
I gave him a 7.
All right, excellent. Okay, Vincey, you want to go?
Yeah, no, go into the chat, because I think those guys have been.
Okay, so G is given his ratings. He's gone Ramsdale 5. That's a bit too low for Ramsdale for me. Cedric 7, White 8, Gabriel 7. I thought Gabriel was better than White. Tierney 7, Xhaka 6. Has Xhaka got over a 6 today? What did African Guna give him?
5.5. I gave him an extra 0.5 just because he didn't take the armband. That was actually a really big move for me. I was really happy he didn't take it.
Yeah, you're not the only one. I was elated when me and Vincey saw that in the stadium. Yeah. Partey 7, Odegaard 9, Saka 8, Smith Rowe 8, Lacazette 4, Arteta 9. He says Arteta in. Kurt says, unfortunately, was not able to watch the whole match, so won't give ratings. 18 has gone Ramsdale 6.5, Suarez 7.5. That's a great score for Cedric. White 7, Gabby 7, Tierney 7.5. It's a good score for Tierney. Xhaka 6.5. That's his high score today. Partey 7. Odegaard gets another 9. Saka 8.5. Smith Rowe 8.5. Lacazette gets a 6. That's decent. And Arteta is an 8. That Lacazette 6 there is a Tony Cox 6. A little running joke we have on 101 about averages. So for those of you who get that, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Vincey, go for it. Go for it. I think that's all the ones we've got at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, my ratings are pretty similar to what Greg's put up. That's why I didn't want to go in front of Greg.
Shall we put those up?
Yeah. Ramsdale, I'll give him a 5 today. I'm not sure if from the view where we had, we didn't see too many replays, unfortunately, in the ground, but I'm not sure whether he was at fault for their goal. He wasn't at all? Okay.
No.
All right. But yeah, his distribution today at times was a little bit suspect. I think I've seen it before. But again, he wasn't called when he was called on, his crosses were there, but he wasn't really called into too many situations today. So that's why I'd give him a 5. Cedric, for me, he really had a good game. I think it would be a very dour game to watch if Cedric had a poor game, and he didn't. So, fair play to him. He gave some good crosses. He showed himself and overlapped. Unfortunately, our play is just lacking in that final third to allow him sometimes to even take a shot. A little bit indecision at times, but he had a good game. So I definitely agree with that 7 there. Agree with White as 8 for me. I think I loved when he broke through, and that's just the understanding where Partey and Xhaka, when they aren't able to move the ball forward, and you've got a defender who can take the ball forward past their strikers or their midfielders. White is the perfect guy, and he's just showed that composure, and then to spread the ball out wide. So definitely, I agree with 8 there for White. I'd probably give Gabriel a 7.5 today. As Apollo was saying to me all game, Gabriel's just a bully. He's just a colossus there. But for me, the White today just slightly pipped it with his advance in play today. Even though Gabriel did go up front in situations in the first half, and for some reason they didn't want to use the ball over to him, so then he had to drop back. So 7.5 for Gabriel. Tierney, good game today. Bounced back well. Nothing outstanding, but he, when he was called upon to chase down some balls in the first half, he did it well in attacking play to keep the attack on, and gave some good crosses in, but again, didn't really take advantage of them. So yeah, 7 for Tierney. I'd give Xhaka a 6. Now, again, I'm not sure from the angle where we were today, but I noticed very much in the first half, it looked like he was ahead of Partey for most of that first half, as opposed to being alongside him, which was a huge frustration to me when I'm looking and thinking, okay, well, how is that going to help? He seems so far ahead on the left-hand side, even ahead of, at times,
sometimes.
Yeah, Tierney. And I'm thinking, well, how is that helping the ball moving forward in the midfield? And that was a frustration because it slowed down our ball movement on the left-hand side. So then the ball had to go onto the right because he's not available. So
for me, it was actually good, Vincey, because if we lose the ball, he's not the one who's going to make the tackle. I agree with you, but I was like, what? I actually rather have him in front and Partey be the sweeper, because if he's the sweeper, that's when we get in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, and in those situations he didn't track back, so maybe that was that tactic that was used. But I thought Xhaka actually played quite well in that attacking role, and he got hold of the ball. He didn't hold on to the ball too long. There were some situations second half where he did, but I thought he had a very good first half. So a Xhaka's 6 isn't a bad scoring. based on the way how he plays. Partey had a very good game today for me. I think he seems to be maturing well in his role. His shooting again needs to be questioned, but everything else, he's just seemed very accomplished. He didn't look like he was carrying an injury or anything like. He looked very comfortable on the ball today, which is nice to see. And moving forward towards the remaining games, I just hope he stays fit and can add on to that, because if he does that, we would. I can't see us losing in that situation. Go for it,
Yeah,
African.
I was just say sorry, Vinci. He was nibbling a lot. Instead of actually fouling, he was actually getting the ball. That's what I noticed from him today. He was nibbling at the opposition's feet, and he was getting the ball, and he was transitioning the ball into our favor, and that was really beneficial for us.
Yeah, it was a smart play. When other games where he will just give a needless foul away and so forth, like he looked accomplished in how he was conducting himself on the pitch in all facets today, and that is encouraging for me. So I'm pleased with how you played. I agree with the second there. Odegaard again, my man of the match, like most today. He's just a very accomplished player. I did mention to Apollo during the game that where he lacks pace, which is a problem for Arsenal, he does make up with his ball movement. When he's on the ball, he makes very intelligent passing, and without him today, it really would have been a struggle. Really would have been a struggle to actually watch. So definitely man of the match performance there for Odegaard. Saka, I tell you one thing, I agree with the scoring of 8 today, because Saka is growing on me. I'm a huge fan of him, but I'm actually watching him actually mature this season with his strength and his skill, and sometimes actually now improving in how he's holding off defenders and turning into attack. And he took his goal very well. I personally think he could have got more shots on goal if Lacazette passed the ball a lot sooner to him in situations. But yeah, Saka this season, he may not be scoring as much goals as he did.
He's scoring goals. He's got 8
goals, but in his compared to last season and the season before, he was ridiculous. But this season, he's maturing very well. And I like what he did today. Given more opportunities, I think he will definitely take them. Smith Rowe, big game today for me, because I actually dropped him for my fantasy team because I didn't think he'd actually get a run out. So to play the minutes he played, he looked accomplished on the ball. He looked fit, and I just like the way how he came second half. Obviously, Arteta must have spoken to him to run more direct at those guys. And again, you can see that composed finish. That this season, as I said at the start of the season, big year for him, and he's taking it. He's taking it with full arms. Our top goal scorer, double figures.
Yeah, he's got the first best goal conversion in the team, 37% in front of Nketiah's 36%. And he's averaging 164 minutes per goal.
And Nketiah has 36%.
I haven't spoken for a while. Can we please stick to the PL, please? We're talking about Nketiah. Can we stick?
I'm looking at the big.
We're talking about big boy games. We're not talking about.
No, I'm looking at BBC scorers, and it's all.
I have all the stats in front of me. I'm gonna quote them when we're done. But big boy games, not we can put up Nketiah's stat. Has he scored a Premier League goal this season?
We're talking about the whole team here. We're talking about
Bertram and Nketiah. He had the armband today, man. That's confidence, man.
No, he didn't. Tierney had the armband.
No, he had the armband.
No. Tierney had the armband today. He didn't have it.
Nketiah had the armband.
No, he had the armband when Jack had decided not to take it, and he had to hold it because somebody got it from him.
For that split moment,
LOL,
give the credit to Nketiah as captain of the team. We leave it as that. Okay. And Lacazette, I agree with 4, man. He frustrated me today. And I think this is the problem that Arteta's going to have based on what he's done with getting rid of Aubameyang. He doesn't have the confidence in Nketiah, but he's relying on Lacazette and his running. So, and his link-up play with the kids. So, I see Lacazette as tired right now. Mentally and physically, I think he's shot. I think he needs a rest. But Arteta doesn't have the confidence to either play a false nine and use Pepe, or obviously Martinelli's suspended, but play Nketiah. So what we're seeing, as the stats you mentioned earlier on with Lacazette, is a striker who's just not confident in front of goal. And if you've got a striker not confident in goal starting a 90-minute game, you're going to get these type of performances. So that's something Arteta's going to have to do something, because I think he's three games in a row. He's got 3 and 4. Lacazette.
Well,
he's just been poor. He's been poor,
Yeah.
but he's been starting week in, week out. Again, going to go back to tactics. It's something that Arteta's going to have to do. You know, Nketiah came on. It didn't light up the place, but he's got to find a way. You know, if Lacazette's not,
it's hard to light up. It's hard to light up the place with 8 minutes. He got 7 minutes the last game, 9 minutes the game before that. He's averaged a goal every 71 minutes, but he can't get 71 minutes in the Premier League.
Yeah, and this is the problem where Arteta, he's got to have confidence or find a system for his strikers. He's got 3 there. He's got Nketiah, he's got Lacazette, and he's got
Martinelli, man. Yeah. And
he's got to make a decision. And if he wants to play his false 9, he's got Pepe. So it's not like he hasn't got the players. He's just got to find the formation that best suits the team. And I'll probably give Arteta a 9 today. You know, it's Brentford. We got the result based on, you know, the first game of the season. They did us over. You know, so yeah, there would have been a lot of apprehension. We could have easily slipped up today. Got the job done. Would have been nice to get a clean sheet, but that's how it goes. So yeah, 9 for me.
Excellent. Bertram, hold on, let me just check to see if there's any. No. Curtis saying our match on Thursday with Wolves would be massive. They'll be up for it, having beaten Spurs at home, plus foolishly letting themselves work up over players celebrating. Yeah, he's going to see who's celebrating on Thursday night. Kuke says, obviously, this is going to be a tight game. Our finishing has to improve. I can see us come unstuck here. Yeah, I mean, it was Gabriel that scored against Wolves. It wasn't any of our forward line. But again, we're at home. Kurt says, agree. Definitely need to pull out more of our chances away. Against the better teams will be our undoing. Hope our lads are pumped up by the Wolves foolishly moaning and punishing them to celebrate. Yeah, that's going to turn up into a grudge match. Bertram, you have the conch.
So I have a lot to say, actually. First thing I'll say is this. I'm looking at stats. Before I go to my ratings, I'm looking at stats. So here are the stats. And these stats are not disputable. They are factual stats. Now we can figure out how to massage these stats and go through them. Pepe has played 70 games, 15 goals, 8 assists. And I deal with Premier League, I don't deal with Bush League. I'll be clear on that. Saka, 82 games, 13 goals, 12 assists. Smith Rowe, 41 games, 11 goals, 4 assists. Odegaard, 35 games, 5 goals, 5 assists. So Saka stats, not compared to Smith Rowe, and it's not better than Pepe's. In any way you want to cut and slice it. Okay, if you want to say what in his first season he played a lot most at wing back, Pepe really starts nowadays. And Pepe has only had in 61 games before the season, 22 subs, and he's only started half the games this season. So the stats equate out where Saka has not been better than Pepe. So when you guys getting all excited, Saka can shoot with his right foot, and he's not that great shooting with his left foot either. And I was watching the game today and smiling. He tried to take a left foot shot and pass to the keeper. Very good player, will only get better. There's no way he's worth 70 million. So you guys can keep carrying about a 70 million person. If he's worth 70, then Smith Rowe is worth 100. I think Smith Rowe is a better player.
So I don't want to cut you. I just want to correct one thing here, Bertram. Because remember, I'm on your side. I'm a Pepe before Saka. Yeah. But I have to say, there's an asterisk in Saka's number because, first of all, he played a whole season at left back.
No. I probably not listening. I said that.
Right,
I said, don't tell me that he played as wing back, most of wing back, left back and wing back, because you can cut Pepe's minutes. You can use minutes alone, and you'll see that they almost equate.
Yeah, because when he was playing there, I've always known him. He's had more assists than any other player for Arsenal in the last few seasons. So that's where the goals are something which you challenged him on, and rightly so. And we've all talked about it. And he's starting to deliver, but he is not better than Pepe on there. I haven't seen it.
And my point I'm trying to make is this: is that when we complain about not scoring, Saka owns it, Laka owns it, Martinelli owns it. Smith Rowe doesn't own it, by the way. He doesn't own any of it because he's 11 in 41. That means he's 1 in 4 as a winger because he's not playing in the middle. Doesn't own it.
Yeah.
Odegaard today had a clear shot in the box on his right foot, which he didn't take, and we wondered he had no right foot, and he made a cross on the right side with his right foot in the box. Don't know about it. So let me go to my ratings, and they're very similar to what you guys have, right? Ramsdale, when we play against subpar teams or make mistakes, we don't get punished. When we play against a better team, you kick the ball out, and we're not set up defensively, you get punished. When you get punished in his back kicking today, he gets a 6. He commands his area. I like how he, as African Guna says, when he gets the ball, he's thinking about starting the offense versus holding the ball and, posing. He's thinking about how do I get the ball out as quickly as possible and put the opposition under pressure. Cedric gets a 6.5 for me. His crossing maybe get to its destination, but there's no Arsenal player there most of the time. And I'm sorry, if you're going to cross the ball, make sure it's close to your teammate so you can put the ball, pressure the opposition. It wasn't happening. Ben White, I like Ben White a lot. I actually think Ben White is a better football player than Gabriel, but Gabriel is physically imposing. No, Gabriel also does what Ramsdale does. Every game, Gabriel does one of these. You pass the ball from deep to the opposition and put us under pressure, and we get away with it. Against the Man City and Liverpool's, we won't. But I like Gabriel because he's physically imposing and he's athletic, which helps him. And when he's in the box on corners and set plays, he actually put the opposition under pressure. We need more of that. We don't have enough of that, actually. Tierney, African Good, I'm not sure what happened to your boy. He's playing more control nowadays. I think maybe he's feeling the pressure of going forward too much. I'm not sure if he's fit or not, but he hasn't been the same. I give him a hard time. Not giving him a hard time. I don't see the same Tierney I see, which is bumming up and down the wing. It's not the same. He's more measured. His crossing still needs to improve.
Can I say something, Bertram, on that? I think our tactics have also changed. I think last season we depended on him a lot. He was actually he was our pivot points actually go forward. He was actually our attacking player. Whereas I think this season we have more of a balance, so it's less likely for him to go forward. I'm not defending him. I do agree he's not where he was last season. But I think from last game and this game, he's slowly getting more confidence. But I agree with you.
And I would say this, after going to made a point before. Brentford, we played Brentford the first game of the season. Now, when you're in school and you're getting bullied by someone and you go call your big brothers, your big friend. That's what happened with Brentford. So we played with our best players and they bullied us. And we go get reinforcements. And they were atrocious, frankly. But that doesn't stop saying that we were playing well, right? Because we played well against City. And we played good against Wolves. So it's us imposing upon them, but they weren't that good either. I thought Xhaka played well. I thought Xhaka played very well today. And I gave Xhaka a 6.5. I was tinkering on 7. I thought Partey was just maybe a little bit better, but I thought Xhaka was very good today. And was playing the ball between the lines, switching the play. I thought he was very good. Held somebody once when they went by him, but that's normally Xhaka. He didn't get a yellow card for it, but that's what he does.
That's what I said as well.
Because when you go by him, he feel like he has to stop you. He doesn't think, someone is covering me, I have to stop you. Partey, look, for being 35 years old, he plays well, right? He's not 29.
I thought he was 45.
His current birth certificate that they use says 93. There's no way he's born in 94. but you know what? As African Guna was saying, he was trying to put a toe in, just to toe the ball of a player, put his leg around them. Takes him a while to lift his leg up, but he does it. So, but he's a good player. You can see the quality in there. And he had a good shot today, which was on target. Odegaard is brilliant between the lines, right? He picks up these little pockets. He's always looking for that pass to get you in. I think the ball he played to Saka when he should have shot with his right foot was a poor decision. But he really makes poor decision in difficult situations. Because when you're watching on the TV, it looks so easy. You can see clearly. When you're playing in those small spaces, to tread the ball between those lines, it's much more difficult than it looks when you're watching it from the TV or watching it from up top, right? Because when you're on the field, everything's at ground level. It's not as easy as people make it out to be. But I think he's very, very good in tight spaces. I'm always wondering why Real Madrid got rid of him and Ozil. Are they seeing something that we don't see? Because he's a very good player. Now, I know they play with a traditional 3 in the midfield versus a 10, but I'm always wondering when they got rid of a player like that who can be so creative and get players in. I think he probably need to do more, because I think about Madison and Mount and Fernandez, who scores quite a bit from there. I know he has 4 goals this season.
Yeah, and
I think
4
he gets
assists.
in a position where he can do more.
Yeah.
I think his passing is pinpoint in tight areas. I gave him an 8 today. Saka, I gave Saka a 7, and I'm going to ask people, what did Saka do well apart from his goal that he scored? That's all I'll ask.
Bertram, can I just say, in regards to your question about Odegaard and Ozil, I'd say it's shooting and pace. Their pace, the pace of running with the ball up and down, going back. In Spain, you've got to be rapid in those positions. If not, they'll move.
Mount is rapid.
Yeah.
I was rapid, but athletic. So is
Yeah.
Madison. Fernandez is not athletic, but he's a pinpoint passer.
I'm looking at Cruz.
In the Premier League, not for Real Madrid.
Yeah.
I was in the PR.
Yeah,
I
but
would
look
say
at
midfield-
Tony Cruz. Tony Cruz at Real Madrid, box to box,
Yeah.
physical.
On
If
that
you haven't got
point,
that, yeah.
on that point, Vinci, my 2 cents would be: I think they're confident that they could always replace them. They always have midfielders,
Sure.
so I think they're willing to let them go for the right price, because they're just not fearful that there won't be.
They could have used him when they get Mbappe, but that's another story for another day. Now, for our midfield lacks athleticism, because I say Partey's 35, he's not athletic as he used to be. Odegaard is not athletic, and Xhaka is slow as snail. We're decent on the ball. They do try to move the ball. They're comfortable in possession, not to beat a man. But we don't have the Bissoumas in the midfield. I think we need that engine to go up and down, up and down. We don't have that. And I watched Willock today.
We do. He's on the
Did
bench.
that for Newcastle today.
Yeah, we do. He's on the bench. He's called Sambi.
Still raw.
No, way
Yeah,
too
he's
raw.
raw.
Yeah, way
He's
too
a good player,
raw.
but he's raw. He's raw. But look, Saka is a very good player. I know people think I just knock Saka. I'm not knocking Saka. He's a good player. He needs to learn how to shoot. And by the way, if you think he was physical today, he was getting roughed up in the first half. And he was getting
No, but I
frustrated.
think me and Vinci were saying, like, over in the last 2-3 months, you can see even Martinelli, him and Martinelli have been bulking up.
Yeah, no, maybe he's in the gym, but I think you get more physical, because in the first half, he was having a difficult time. He was being played physical. I love Smith Rowe. I just think Smith Rowe is a natural footballer. He glides across the park. The one play you mentioned, African Ghana, where he dipped his shoulder in the box and turned on the player. The player had no idea what happened, no idea what hit him. And he does what Aubameyang used to do, trying to place the ball. That Sterling does nowadays. Is go far corner when they have it on the left, actually.
So, Bertrand, can you talk us through these numbers that I've just put up here? They're in the league, by the way.
Yeah, in the minutes. No, Smith Rowe has been, as I say, I love him as a footballer. And he's not, Grealish has been poor, but Grealish plays in a team where he's not the man anymore. So I think it's difficult for him. When you're the man, you get all the balls, everything is played to you. You can make mistakes and not get penalized. He doesn't have that leeway anymore. So Grealish doesn't, it's hard for Grealish, I think, actually.
Madison's having a good season.
Madison's having he's a better season I thought he was having, actually.
Yeah, me too.
Even how Leicester was doing. But Smith Rowe has been exceptional.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem with Smith Rowe is that he's not really a winger, and he's not a true number 10. Right? Today he plays more wide than he normally does, because as Africa Gunnar alluded to, Tierney was the one who was always on the outside, and he's feeding him, and they have Xhaka rotate over and cover for Tierney when he goes forward. We're playing more traditional now, but I think Smith Rowe, he glides on the ball, and he doesn't lose the ball as much as Pepe does. That's why.
And he's direct as well. He's direct. Yeah. You got to foul him, otherwise he's gone.
Yeah. Lacazette. Laka, it's time to go, Laka. to go. You get a 5, but it's time to go. No, I love Laka's hold-up play, even though it was poor in hold-up today. He wasn't good today. But I love his ability to get out of tight situations and play. But Laka really gets in the box when we have a breakaway. I see one time, I think it was either Tierney or Smith Rowe broke away, There's nobody in the box. They have to wait to try the person to come in the box. You're the center forward. And you're not Harry Kane to make those past the sun to break away. So why are you not positioning where you can be on the end of crosses, for example?
Motivation, as what Lafayette Guna says. You know, what I mean,
No, Vincey, he's never fit.
No, but
Vincey,
I know. I said that about his tiring, but also you got the mental side of things where he's like, you know what, I really can't be bothered to get inside of there. He's not switched on to playing football right now.
In the first 10 minutes, he was bending over. I'm not sure you guys probably missed this. I was laughing. In the first 10 minutes, they're taking a corner and he's bending over. I'm saying, you're not fit. Now, some people can never get to that level of fitness, right? And he's not quick either. So you got to find a way to get in the box, like I said, because your job is to score goals, and we're not scoring goals. I don't think we scored one goal in January for this game. We weren't scoring goals.
Then I think our transition play suffers. I think that's the problem.
Yes.
I think he's gotten too used to like just being that hold up guy that like, you know, when you're a player and you stop running as much, like everything changes. Like you just can't do it anymore. And I think that happened with Aubameyang as well. When we moved him onto the wing, he just stopped making those runs. It just doesn't become normal anymore.
Yeah, I think Pepe and/or Martinelli should be in the middle. He will not play Pepe in the middle. Don't trust him enough to do that, or is physical enough to hold up the ball. But I don't see Laka in the team. He's not. If you're not scoring a center forward, unless you're like Antonio, who's very physical, who is beating up on defenders, bringing people into play, he's always in the box. I don't see why, because I think Antonio's 2 in 18, last 18. Yeah. So even then, you can start getting frustrated as a coach to say, I need scoring from my center forward. If he and Odegaard are not scoring, remember, guys, they're in the middle of the park, you know. They're going to be the ones close to the goal. You got to put the ball in the net. So if we're not getting goals from those two, it makes it very, very difficult.
He's not even hitting the target in his last 7 shots, man.
I know. I gave Arteta a 7. I've never seen Arteta being ingenious in a game. And I love where a coach does something different and it works. So he picks the same team every week. So now his challenge is going to be, well, he doesn't have a challenge. Martinelli's on the bench next game. And I'll bet a wager on that. So his thing is that whoever's playing and Smith Rowe score, can't take him out, right? If you get injured, get a red card, you lose your spot. Unless you're Xhaka, then you come back in the team. So I think it's the same team. No, that's how it works. So the same team next game against Wolves. That starts today. Tomiyasu may come in for Cedric, but Tomiyasu had a bad game the last game he played before this game, but he wasn't fit, frankly. He was coming back.
Yeah.
He wasn't fit. So we'll see what he does with Tomiyasu and Cedric. But to me, it's the same team that plays today. I
think he trusts Tomiyasu too much. He's too dependable. I think he'll put him back in. I just get that feeling. Regardless of how good Cedric plays, I think he has his favorites. And you know who his favorites are, and he just won't budge from that. And I think Tomiyasu is one of his favorites, so he'll come straight back in.
I think there's a level of being careful to manage the team as well. You look at the fixtures, you look at Brentford, you look at Wolves, and you think to yourself, I can get by with some tinkering. Remember, he's only got 18 players in his squad, but because of what we're talking about, there is options. It's all about having options. And in the striker's position, there's definitely options there. There's 3 players that we named who can come in and replace Lacazette. I think you've got to get yourself in a position where put your most productive players on the pitch and you'll get the maximum result. And that's the reason why I'm saying Smith Rowe has to stay on the right, find the way for Martinelli to get back into the team. Your question would be, am I going to get more out of Martinelli at the anchor position than I am out of Lacazette? That's what he's going to have to figure out. As far as Tomiyasu, he could rest him because this isn't, well, Wolves is kind of a big game, but with Brentford, it isn't. And I think if this was a Wolves game today, he probably would have played Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu was on the bench, but you can afford to rest him because the nature of his injury was that he didn't want to rush him back.
I disagree with Apollo. Every game is a big game. Exactly. Every game has the same weighting between now and the end of the season for Arsenal.
I wouldn't call a big game against a bottom 5 club.
Team that beat us up the first time we played him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but I mean that was obviously different. I'm talking about you. If you've got Cedric who came off the back of a good game with Burnley, then there's no problem playing him again today.
The only position up for grabs in the team and everyone is fit is Martinelli versus Smith Rowe. And right now, Smith Rowe has 9 goals this season, which is by far the most for the team. He was injured. They were trying to bring him along. He took him off today, not because he wasn't playing well, because he wants to make sure he doesn't get re-injured.
Yeah.
So he'll change Martinelli for Smith Rowe for Martinelli. Smith Rowe will start. Martinelli will come on, but he's not changing his team. He plays it's the same. Arteta, he plays the same team every week. He's not managing anyone apart from Smith Rowe.
Well, I mean, that's a really limited way of putting it.
No. Okay, use history as the criteria. Let's use history.
Yeah,
same midfield, same back. Tomiyasu wasn't hurt. He played every game. So with Tierney, he hasn't played Tavares in weeks.
So in terms of using history, there was a time when he dropped Odegaard because he didn't feel like he was getting enough. He put Lacazette at the 10 role.
When Aubameyang was here.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's a different setup.
Yeah, but then Aubameyang, even then when he was getting nothing from it, the interchange was that there was 4 games that Odegaard missed.
And he dropped Odegaard because Odegaard was injured, came back in, hadn't played as well. He doesn't drop. He loves Odegaard. He loves Odegaard. He loves Saka. He loves Xhaka. We know who he loves. I'm not sure he's as high on Martinelli as others think he is. I think he likes Martinelli, not as much as he likes Saka, Smith Rowe, and Odegaard. Or Xhaka, for that matter.
100%.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to see on Thursday. Thursday is now looking like a very important. Well, they all are. I said to Vincent, there's 15 games left, and they're all cup finals, as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
If you don't approach them with the right mentality and preparation, then you're not going to get 4th place. That's 4th place right now, especially after what Spurs did today. The margins for error are very, very small.
Spurs took 6 points off Man City.
I know. I can't
we
believe
just
that.
have to be defensively sound in games, those critical games, to give us a chance. Because
I disagree. I think it's the opposite. I
agree with Africa Gunnar.
Well,
we just can't score.
Well, the only reason why I'm saying that is because our attack is tired. So we want naturally to be more expansive, but Arteta hasn't shown that he's that expansive.
Why do you say that our attack is tired? How is our attack tired?
Lacazette.
Come on. These guys were in Dubai. They play 1 game a week. I don't think he's tired. I just don't think he has it in him.
I think he's mentally tired as well.
I just don't think he's old.
Look, guys, the defense is the strength for the team. They're ranked 5 in the league. They're the strength for the team. So it stands to reason that let's stop people from scoring first, and then we can go in and get the points. That's where you start. You don't start by saying, let's try and play them off the park and score and outscore them. We're not Liverpool. We don't have the options up front. We don't have the type of creativity that they do. It's still
we have scored 36 goals all season. 36 goals. West Ham scored more, Man U more, Man City more, Chelsea more, Liverpool more. We compete with Wolves. Tottenham hasn't scored a ton because Harry Kane wasn't scoring, but now Harry Kane starts scoring. They'll go by us too. We're not scoring goals. That's part of our problem. It's been a problem for the last 3 years. And that's the good thing I love, though, unlike Wenger, he's built the back 5. Right? So now we can get comfortable with the back 5. We can then say, you know what? And I like the strategy, actually, which is this season, not the season. Next season, the season.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying, and that's the reason why I bring up the point that we've had all these managers, including Wenger, and Arteta is the first manager in 15 years to actually build a spine.
Yeah,
a goalkeeper, 2 centre backs, a holding midfielder.
And now he's going to get a striker.
The only problem is that we're going to lose Saliba and Pepe next year, so we got to replace them.
You think
those who think Saliba's going to be with us? No, he won't. He's not sitting on the bench. He's not going to sit on the bench. He's just.
I think it's 2 years. I don't think next season is the season. 2 years is when you're going to see this team really kick on.
No, I think it's
next season.
Yeah. We're going to go out and buy a centre forward and buy another winger and buy a couple of midfielders. Actually,
I need to see that formation though, because I haven't seen it yet.
It'll be the same formation we have now.
Because next season, you can actually right now it's 90% Arteta's team. Next season is when you said this guy has come in, he's spent the money, and remember we got to bring Edu into the conversation as well. It's their team. Next season will be their team, so I want to see the results from their team. What can their team actually do? This is your 3rd year. This is your contract year. So if you want a contract extension. Yeah, get this team into the Champions League this year and then I think you can start having that conversation. It would be, people don't understand. If you get in the Champions League top 4 this year, that would be a monumental success for Arsenal Football Club. That would be.
I
huge
think we
for
have
Mikel
been
Arteta.
successful with the current squad is composition just because we have a back 5 who are all under 25 years old, right? We need to enhance the midfield because they're both long in the tooth, the ones who are starters. Odegaard obviously is under 25 also. Our forward
need a
and
backup
are all under 25, and they're very good players, and we can see them becoming exceptional players, a lot of them, actually. So you have a spine which is well constructed. You got to supplement that now and enhance that with players in certain key positions in the middle of the park who has legs, and your offense also becomes your defense. If I'm scoring more, you can't pressure me as much. You got to defend more. And we have very good defenders and a better offense. It'll be only stronger than we were today or tomorrow, frankly. So, no, I'm very encouraged by going forward in terms of what we look like.
So,
Cool,
so
guys.
what,
I've got to show it.
yeah. I mean, it's closing comments now anyway. So, just wanted to get you guys' thoughts for Thursday. Is going to be a huge game again. Arsenal's home record, 3rd best in the league now. I honestly think that we can win. I think it's going to be 1-0. It's going to be a tight game, but I think it's going to be 1-0 Arsenal on Thursday.
3-1.
Chop!
Yes.
Where are you
goal
seeing
in
3
the-
goals coming
Hey.
from?
3-1.
There's goal in them deals.
3-1, mate. There's going to be some own goals, man. 3-1.
What?
And some penalties. Seriously, 3-1.
It's a grudge match. They're
Wow.
telling us we're celebrating over beating them. It's a grudge match.
So if someone gets sent off, you know what I mean? It's
They're a good team. They're a good team.
Oh yeah, I've been saying that Bertrand
Barely
for
can
weeks,
see.
but yeah, our fans
I don't know
are
where you
like
at
paving
3
it off,
goals.
man.
Especially in the middle of the park, they're good. Their problem is scoring also.
yeah.
But they're
Hey,
very good in the middle of the park. Very
Did you
good.
see on the forum when I made a statement to these guys that said in the last 3 games against Wolves, Neves has been the player in the midfield. And on our forum, you wanted to hear all the Xhaka fans come out of the woodwork and say, Xhaka bossed it. Xhaka bossed it. He was in control. This is like, I'm watching the same. Neves is ridiculous, man.
I
He's
didn't
really good.
He didn't
that
stand out for
midfield-
me in the last game. He didn't stand out for me.
I
in
am
the last game.
curious. I am curious about who we pursue next year. There's a bunch of midfielders: Kessie, Sanchez, Neves, the kid from Leicester named slipping me now.
Tillemans.
Tillemans. There's a bunch of midfielders who I think will become available. The question is, which 1 or 2 are we going to pursue?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one because strikers on the main menu, you know. So the midfielder, I don't know, man. I mean,
No, Apollo. Why are we already making excuses? Like, it's not one or the other. We need to get both. If we want to really challenge, we got to get a top striker and a top midfielder. We got to replace
No, we gotta get
Xhaka.
both.
but
Yeah, you gotta get both.
you
No, we have
got to do it by the number. You need 2 strikers, the African Guna, not
Yeah,
2.
I know.
No.
We just have
Convert
to
Martinelli
replace
to be a striker. Put Martinelli in the middle and buy someone else.
That's what I said. That's what I
Yeah.
said. He it's hurting me that they're not playing this guy there. And I always go back to when Aubameyang got red carded and Martinelli had to fill those roles and score 2 goals in the 3 games. One of them.
Yeah,
being
but the
that-
last game he
that's-
played in the middle, he wasn't that good, was he? Who did he play
Yeah.
against? But he was just coming
but
back
our-
too.
our team
he wasn't good that season anyway because he was just coming back from the injury. But I really do feel he can be the point man. I really do. Yeah,
Change of
I
tactics
really
for
do.
change of tactics. Same thing needed for Nketiah if he comes up, if he starts, he's got to change the tactics.
But I hope he gets your starts for Crystal Palace next year.
Yeah, I hope so too. So
Yeah,
that
me
way
too.
I can come back and tell Apollo I told you so.
Yeah, because I think Benteke is gone next year, and then they're going to replace him with him. He just needs to play. His record is too good in order to not play.
His
can't
record
leave-
is too good in the League Cup or Europa, not in the Premier League.
So these are just excuses, man. Because that's where
How many-
you know
Apollo,
what?
how
That's
many
where
games
that's
has he
where
had in the Premier
that's where
League?
everybody was before they started getting running the Premier
If we
League.
use League Cup and FA Cup as a criteria, when Pepe played
No, we're
Sunderland,
not.
he had
And
a
this
bunch
is
of
the
nutmegs
reason
and
why I bring
assists
up
and
last
goals.
year when he beached Lacazette in his position. Yeah, won the game for West Ham against us. Yeah, won the game against Southampton. I bring up these examples because we're talking like he's never played in the Premier League before. And
He's
it's just
played
like,
a lot, and he doesn't
I can't
score
even-
enough. He
No,
doesn't
Nketiah is a
assist
good player, but he's not good enough for Arsenal. That's all.
Arsenal.
Not good enough for Arsenal.
and you know, and that's a fair criticism.
He's a good player.
But my answer to that is play the guy and see what he can do.
No, but
Yeah,
Apollo, he's
that's my
he's
answer.
had a lot of chances. And
No, he
look at
hasn't.
Willock. You know,
How many
we
games has
had
he started this year in the Premier League?
Willock. We have the same conversation with Nelson. All three of these kids are
how
good
many
players.
games
No.
has he played
Very
this
good.
season in the Premier
I
League?
like Willock, by the way.
Yeah, but he's not
Yeah.
Arsenal material. Like he can be, but he's just that one tier below for me. He's never going to be a world-class player for Arsenal.
If you don't play him, he will never be anything.
No,
If you
I
don't
do
play him,
think
he's
though.
good.
I do think we can only judge people with good sample size, right? So I would agree. And Nketiah hasn't gotten a run for like Saka's gotten run. People don't understand, you know. When you have a body of work and you get opportunities and you get confidence, you can show what you can do. If I put you in and out, you can't show what you can do. I do look at Nketiah. I look at Willock. He's not there, but I watched Willock today and watch him play. The kid has an engine that doesn't stop, right? And he has skills also. He's not quick, so it affects him, but he has skills. But he's getting to play. Kids want to play; they have to play, and let me see them play first before we make a judgment as to. But I'm watching Nketiah play. I think Apollo is a good player. He'd be a good Premier League player. If you want to be top 4 and challenge for the league title, he's not that player. I don't think.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. I do agree. And I've never outrightly come out this season. Last season I did when he was playing last season and took Lacazette's place. I was like, yeah, this is it. Now you guys are going to see. Then he got red carded. And
by the way, guys,
he's never got back into the team.
The one thing I would say about Arteta is, you know, he's not my favorite manager, but the one thing I like about him, he's trying to build a team to compete with Liverpool and City. He's not trying to build a team to just make top 4. If you look at the players he has bought, apart from maybe Sambi, who's not there yet, but those players have the ability, like the White, the Gabriel, the Ramsdale, to compete at the highest level. And that's what you need. You don't need to buy players who are very, very good. When we play City, they do like Spurs did today, which 10 drop. No, he wants to impose himself on teams. So he's buying players with that potential or even the immediate ability to do so, which I like about that.
Yeah, I do. I do like the way that they're going. And if we get a summer this year like we did last year, then guys, we're going to be in for a heck of a season next year.
Apollo, I agree, but just make sure it's in the beginning. I don't want to wait all the way to the end of the summer again and then finally get all the players. Let's do everything early, get a proper preseason, integrate.
Because you know what, like, that's a good point. Because those 3 games cost. I know there's COVID and everything else, but had we brought them players in, maybe they wouldn't. Maybe we would have had the players. We wouldn't have to start with the players we did.
We'd have been challenging Chelsea.
Yeah, exactly.
For third.
That's true. All right,
we still might, Bertram. You know, we're only 2 points away, but hey,
African Gunnar. Now you're getting overly ambitious. Now you're getting overly ambitious.
African Gunnar wants it all, and he wants it now.
Yeah, but I'm tired of waiting, man.
You got those kids that come to your company. Their first year, talk about how long does it take to be the president of the company? And you're like, you just got here.
That's me. That's me.
Ain't even got out the post room yet. All right, guys, that's it from us. We'll be back on Thursday.
Last closing comments.
Yeah.
No one talked about this. The officiating, man. I'm sorry. It's not some bias or because I'm an Arsenal. There is something. It's so wrong. It's so
there's an agenda. There's an agenda.
It's so obvious. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. We could have had like 3 penalties today.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I know. You guys have got the luxury of replays. The replays inside the Emirates is not the best, which I've been saying.
Well, Apollo, tell them when they enhance the stadium, which they plan to do, they got to have that put into the stadium, right? They have to do a better job of putting those more modern amenities in the stadium.
That's what I'm saying. Some of them screens I see in the NFL, like I've been like 200 yards away and I can see it crystal clear, every single thing on them screens.
Yeah, tell Kronk to take some of the things he has in the Ram Stadium because it's ridiculous.
So far, he's on the next level.
So just quickly, on the TV, they don't show the replay anymore of like drawing the line or any of that. Like literally, you don't see any of that.
No, they do show it here.
Yeah. Oh,
no, I saw the lines today. They showed the line. Mainly the Spurs
don't
game,
see
not the
anything.
Arsenal game, but the Spurs game they did actually.
Was that NBC?
Yeah, we
Okay.
don't see it anymore.
Yes, NBC. Yeah.
NBCSN.
NBC.
Okay.
I watched like 4 different channels with Premier League. You know, if you're outside the UK, you get every single
Yeah.
game.
Oh yeah, you do, man,
Channel
because
in
it's the
UK.
biggest league. It's the biggest league in the world.
But Apollo, I'll say this, Apollo, which is, you know that outside the UK in the next contract will be more revenues generated than in the UK, right?
Yeah.
First time ever. And it's only going to get worse. So hopefully we get a game here eventually. Because we do bring football games to the UK. We should be able to bring football games, American football games to the UK. You guys should start complaining about it's no longer a UK league, it's a global league.
It's a global league, yeah.
We want to watch them too, live.
And the NFL tickets sell out here. They have 3 games in the UK and sell out in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like if you sleep on a ticket, you'll never get to an NFL game in the UK. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, I don't think we're there with Premier League games coming here yet. So I'm not sure you guys will buy into that, and fans will lose their mind, especially local supporters. But eventually, it should happen.
Yeah, I think so. That would be great if it happens, man. And let's hope that Arsenal are one of those teams because they got a big presence in the US.
Yeah, it's only getting bigger. It's huge.
And I'm not sure about some of those winter games in New York though. We're gonna have to have some...
Hey,
you can always go to California. Rose Bowl.
Yeah. You can always
go to the Rose Bowl.
Or you can even play in one of the domes.
Yeah,
that would be nice. Yeah, that would be nice.
No, before you guys go, the last one I make is when the US played Honduras in the World Cup qualifiers, they took them to Minnesota in the winter. It was 13 degrees below zero.
Wow.
So I take off 2 players for hypothermia. It was you can't feed your body. Yeah. They make sure they set them up to win.
That's what I said. They get paid. They get paid, so that we shouldn't really feel too bad. They get paid.
Hey, listen. Have you ever been to Minnesota, African Guna?
No, I haven't. But I mean, Toronto is quite cold, so I know
cold.
what cold is like.
Yeah.
But like, I know. I'm just saying. They're getting paid. I mean, I saw Partey $250K a week. Yeah, and Pepe even $130K a week. These guys.
No. But I'm saying not. I mean, if you're used to warm weather and you go play 30 degrees,
it messes you up, man.
Human.
That's that Paisley Park in Minnesota as well, man. That's the Paisley Park. The coldest place I've ever been on earth is Windy City, Chicago. We went down there, me and Lisa, and big shout out to Vincey because he got me to get that popcorn.
Oh yes,
yeah. Big shout out to Vincey. And when I said to one of my guys, why do they call it Windy City? He took me over to where they got the big lake and the frost coming from Alaska, from the cold Alaska over the lake into the city, and that cold Antarctica breeze is just. I've never been.
So it's funny. I used to go to Chicago pretty frequently because I had an office down there and I have staff down there. And when you're walking by the water, it's like you have no coat on. No matter how warm you dress, it just blows straight through.
It just goes straight through you, man. Yeah, that's the coldest place I've been on earth. I haven't been anywhere colder than Chicago in winter, man. Whew.
That wind is something else. Yeah,
it is something else, man. Windy City. All right, guys, that's it from us. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. As the African goodness says, when Arsenal win, my weekends are always lush.
Yep.
I do love it. And listen, Wolves next at home, and we need to dominate them, man. We need to come out and we need to dominate them and put a chase in on this 4th place. It's so easy. Now I can see the wood through the trees. Now I can see the path.
Nah, I was before Spurs beat City. I was seeing it, and Spurs beat City, and I get.
But remember, Bertrand, we've got to go to their place. That's the key game.
And we don't win at their place, Apollo.
Yeah, that's the FA Cup for us this season.
Yeah, but we don't win at their place.
I know that's why it's so important. Yeah. That's the game, bro. If we win that game,
and Apollo, they're playing with the form. Kane is back to himself, and he's playing with Son, and they're a devastating duo. And it's frustrating because they just sit deep and they play on the counter.
But I did say that last week, and then they got beaten twice. I said exactly what you said, and then they got beaten twice.
No, that's true too.
Yeah, I said exactly the same thing.
All right,
guys, man. That's it from us. Peace out, everybody.
Peace out.
Nice one, man.
Take it easy.